wrapped around your soul with no control. You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I'll run, I'll hide. Darkness always clouds my mind. When I look behind, it's moving closer every time. I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. 'Cause darkness, my old friend, you get me till at the end. At the end. Can you feel it wrapped around your soul with no control? You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. 'Cause darkness, my old friend, you get me till at the end.
What's going on, folks? What's going on? Will Stewart here with another THFC rant. Tonight we are talking about our pre-match with Newcastle United coming on tomorrow morning for us here on this side of the world. Yeah, so I don't have much of an intro today. We're just going to go ahead here and say hello to some folks in the comments here. We've got my good friend Brian Daigle. Yes, I'm having guests on tonight. The link will be in the chat right now. Go ahead and click that link if you guys want to come on and chat tonight about our game tomorrow. We've also got Cody Mack in the house. My fellow bald and bearded Tottenham boy. And We also got Eunice in the house. And Ronok Khan. We've also, who else we got in the house here? I don't know. There's about 10 of you else. Somebody say hi. But I'm going to go ahead and bring my first two guests of the night in. So it's my Canadian friends. First of all, you know them. You love them. My bald and significantly more bearded than me buddy, Cody Mack, is here. What is going on, my friend?
Not much. How you doing, Will?
Do you want me to sing your song, or are we?
No, that's okay. That's okay. We'll let the boys at We Are Tottenham TV take care of that.
For sure. We've also got, you know him, you love him even more, the guy who shoots lasers out of his eyes at Daniel Levy, my good friend Brian Daigle.
I have to say first of all, good evening to you both. Thank you for your support yesterday on the first episode of the Two Brians, and most importantly, just that artwork, my friend, and the comments it's been receiving is good. And I can see Cody has cracked open a vintage early, ready for tomorrow. He's just not going to sleep. He's just going to crack open with the Canadian box wine.
Yeah, I got a little Pinot Carbordio going here.
You seem like a wine guy, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I did a change to my setup here. It looks the same for you folks at home, but here in front of me, I purchased a monitor, and it's up right behind my camera, so that way I'm not looking down all the time. I'm kind of looking up, so you can see my baby blues. But you seem to be a wine man, Cody. And why do you prefer the fruit of the vine?
You know what? It's just a happy time, you know. And like I was that kid in high school that was hungover every time I drank. So when you find something that works for you, you don't go away from
stick
it.
with it. Yeah, for sure. For me, it's beer. I love beer. I'm not a big, spirits guy or hard alcohol, as we say over here on this side of the world. But for me, it's just beer. I just like a good beer. So tonight, for me, we have a little bit of a Golden Road mango cart. It's a mango. It's a wheat beer with mango peel instead of orange peel. So it's
nice.
It's a little fruity. It's a little fruity. And how are you doing tonight, Brian? What do you got going on over on your side of the world?
Well, seeing that I'm a recovering alcoholic that will be clean for 13 years in July, I've got a nice cup of British English tea. So
I like tea.
Mate, honestly, I'm obsessed with tea. I do like my coffee, but I tell you what, when it comes to coffee, I'd never understood the phrase "don't speak to me till I have my coffee" until I moved to Canada. This country, I've been in buildings with people where you say good morning to them, and they're like, "Don't speak to me," and then they have their sip, and they're like, "Oh, good morning, Brian. What a pleasant day it is today." And I'm like, Jesus Christ. So it's crazy, but I don't mind a coffee, but I'm tea all day long.
Yeah, I mean, the tea, I can drink some tea, especially I like a darker tea. So English tea is pretty good. The lighter green tea sometimes, having spent a lot of time in Asia. But yeah, here in the US, it's coffee for the most part. So
I have to get my tea shipped over because we have extra strong tea bags back home, and the orange Pico, as Cody will know well over here, is just like dishwater. It's so weak; it's nothing compared to back home. So I have to pay the extra expense for my home luxuries for bloody tea. Yeah, how British can you be?
I don't know if you remember, but my stepdad's British.
Yeah,
and so he's a beer drinker himself, but he has to have his British crisps.
Oh yes, exactly. You said the right word, not chips, crisps. That's right. Yeah. Very good.
His crisps, and Twiglets is one of his favorites.
Marmite. He's a Marmite lover, good man.
Yeah, Marmite and Twiglets, and he likes a good Grolsch now and again. But yeah, since he's been over here in the U.S., he's switched over to Miller Lite, which I find repulsive. Any American light beer is, I believe.
Do you know the thing I miss about alcohol though? Over here, Did you spend any time in England, Will, as a kid, or growing, or at the drinking age? Kind of, you've been in England when it's been.
No, I've actually never been to England. We were
my
supposed to
God.
go before COVID broke out. My stepfather was going to take me and my wife over there, and we were going to go to the new stadium and all that stuff. But
So yes, so the thing I missed is like one of my favourite shows that I love that my wife and I are obsessed with is John Taffer Bar Rescue. I absolutely love John Taffer. That guy is a legend. But in England, it's not so big on the cocktail things here. And when I say cocktails, I don't mean like a martini, like these proper, like the American bars, like where they have these house-made cocktails, which are real concoctions that are limited or just for those bars. And we don't really have that in England. It's like you have your Jack and Coke or your Southern Comfort and whatever, or your vodka and whatever. So I've missed out on that part because there's so many times I watch Bar Rescue and I'm like, do you know what? That sounds so damn good, and I'm never going to try it.
yeah, but it's if you're staying sober, that's a good thing to do.
Oh yes.
Definitely don't want to go down that road. For me, I've never really liked getting drunk. I mean, when I was in my early 20s, I would do it, just because that was the thing to do. But like today, I'm too old and to deal with hangovers. So
yeah, you got to remember, supporting Tottenham also doesn't really help when you're trying to stay sober. They can add a lot of problems to it. So, as Cody is, as Cody
absolutely.
is saying.
But 2 or 3 beers in the evening on the weekends is what I try to keep myself to. Sometimes during the week, if I'm having a hard time falling asleep, I just to help me relax a little bit, I might have 1 or 2 as well. But for the most part, it's just hanging out. But guess who else is here from your guys is staying up late with us tonight? Irish's #1 Spurs
Oh, is
fan.
he in the building?
The Irish Hotspur is in the house.
Oh yes.
David,
yes,
sir. How you doing, buddy?
How you all keeping? I told you, Will, I'd keep my promise, lad. I told you I'd be on, lad.
Thank you very much for staying up late with us and joining us tonight. It's always great. The more people, the merrier, I say. So, but yeah, we've got a couple other people in the house. Joseph Monahan. Did you ever watch Friends? Yeah, I've watched Friends a long time ago. I used to enjoy that show back in the day when I was younger, but to be honest with you, I haven't watched it in a long time. I'm not one. I have a fairly good memory, and so I find it difficult to watch shows or movies that I've seen before because I remember everything that happened. So it becomes less fun. There's only a very few movies that I can watch that more than once. Braveheart being one of them. The Patriot.
Shawshank Redemption.
Now, Shawshank Redemption is
Shawshank.
not. That's a good movie, but it's not one that I can watch more than once. Star Wars movies I can watch more than once. Karate Kid was one I enjoyed growing up. But those are the ones that I can watch over and over and over again. Some more than others.
Star Wars.
No, I don't like Star Wars. Not a fan of Star Wars.
Well, I actually had a deal with my wife that for every Star Wars she made me watch, because I hadn't watched any of them until I moved to Canada. I'd seen bits of the very, very first one, which I believe in this weird Star Wars world is actually the 3rd movie, but it was actually the 1st movie or whatever that nonsense is. But I had a deal with her that for every one of those I watched, she watched The Fast and Furious with me. So it evened out.
Yeah, I enjoy them.
On Star Wars, my old lad brought us to the cinema when we were younger, all of us, the whole family, like me and my sisters and all. And every single one of us fell asleep and woke up when the movie ended.
That's about right. I wish I could have done the same.
I didn't realize I was in a room with such little class here, guys. No appreciation for the classics. Come on.
You go pour that wine out of a box, then.
Fair play.
So Cody, is it just Mac, or is there something else that comes after Mac?
MacDonald.
The world wants to know. So McDonald. So you're a fellow Scottish fellow like myself, then, huh? Or is it?
Yep. MacDonald.
Yeah.
David, we're actually sworn enemies, David and I.
Yep. So probably my family as well, because the EWARTs did a lot in Northern Ireland back in the old days. So I'm sure there's quite a few Irish folk that have a hard feelings against some Stuarts too. So
No, look, the troubles are no longer there anymore, lads. It's just, all it is now is they all have their bonfires, and they all have this period where they all have their bonfires now, and then out of the bonfires they hang their flags and then burn other, like the opposite side flags and stuff like that, and then just a bit of writing with the police. But that's all you see now. The trouble is not as over, more or less. So they're talking about trying to talking about talks maybe to try and make Northern Ireland a part of Ireland now, all one, with the Brexit and all going on as well.
So yeah, to stay on our Braveheart theme, they're going to unite the clans. So.
Nah, look, I don't ever see it happening, to be honest with you. I really don't. But I don't know. They're pushing for it and they're talking about it. So I don't know. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a good thing. I mean, other than the currency change, I would bet that too that economically there's probably a little bit of a difference too, saying that the North had British support for a lot longer. So. There might be. Yeah,
it'd be a shame though, because we used to go up there every Christmas and load up the car with booze and everything, all the cheap booze, and bring it back for Christmas and all. But can't do that anymore.
All right, well, let's get into the match tomorrow. I think the door has been opened up for us today. I really do. After watching the games today, Chelsea, West Brom, the Leicester City game, and the Arsenal Liverpool game. Them scum down the road didn't help us out today. I was hoping for a draw. That's what I was hoping for. But what do you guys think? How does the table looking for you? We'll start with Cody here, and then we'll go down and around.
Listen, boys, can we swear on this show?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as long as it's not overly.
Okay.
I might have to get the beeper
I'm fucking fired up for tomorrow. There's an old saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder. And it's been a long 2-week international break. And it's funny because, even after the Villa game, going into the break, you still had that little bit of a bitter taste in your mouth from what Spurs had done to us there in Zagreb and in the North London derby. But just seeing West Brom go out and absolutely batter Chelsea, how big that game is, not only in the table, but in the goal differential as well. I'm licking my chops for tomorrow. And you know what? I'm just trying so desperately to block out that feeling that there's the trap door sitting underneath waiting to be pulled out, because all the things, every time we've gotten a gift this season, we haven't been able to take advantage of it. So, it's got to be tomorrow, man. It's time to get moving here, and I hope we absolutely batter them.
And what do you think about the way the table looks? The help that Chelsea gave us this afternoon and all that good stuff.
Well, listen, you know what, the way some Spurs fans were talking even after the Villa game, how top 4 is an honor thing. Just look at the math. The way I was trying to explain to people was we could be top 4 after the next match day, and here we are. We've got a decent chance. It depends on what West Ham do against Wolves there on Monday. But, man, we've gotten the bone is right there. All we have to do is go get it. I personally felt like the manager bounce for Chelsea was going to come down here at some point because, there have been signs, look at the 0-0 draw at Leeds. They've played a lot of negative football. They have the European competition still worry about. They're still in the FA Cup. So, you know what? Top 4 is on, and I was watching your stream earlier, David, and I think there's still 3 spots up for grabs. Absolutely. United have been shaky at times as well, and they still have Europa to deal with. Yeah, anything's possible in a season like this, but yeah, top 4 is on 100%. I love the way the table looks right now.
Yeah, and some of the other fixtures tomorrow are, you got the first one is being Southampton, Burnley. That doesn't really matter to us. Our match, Aston Villa, Fulham, that could be one. Aston Villa, I think they still have quite a few matches in hand. I don't necessarily think that they have a whole lot going on, but you never know. They're still within striking range. And then you got Man United and Brighton for the late game tomorrow. So what do you guys think about that? I mean, the table right now as it stands, the live table, Liverpool sitting in 5th, and We are 1 point behind both them and West Ham.
So let me start first of all with today's fixtures. I mean, first of all, I thought I'm just going to watch Chelsea West Brom just because, like Cody said, there'd been an international break, and I was like, I'm crying out for some football. But I can guarantee you there are probably millions of people around the world that thought I'm not even going to be watching that. That's a Chelsea win. That's going to be an easy. What a game that was! What a game that for the neutral. What an absolute spectacle! And it just shows why the Premier League is what it is. Then the Leicester Man City game was an obvious. We all know Man City are going to walk this league, and that was it's helped us, but the game really had no significance. Really, but do you know what? The Arsenal game really pissed me off, and I mean it really pissed me off, and it really brought me back to the North London. It's like West Ham went for the jugular, and all right, they went 3-0 up, and then they conceded 3, whatever. Liverpool went for the jugular, and 3 defensive errors for 3 goals. And then as happy as I was to see Arsenal lose, it just infuriated me the way that we played in the North London derby. It really, really made me annoyed. But
gotta look forward. Look forward,
oh
Brian.
yeah, no, I
Look
do.
forward.
But no, the only reason I can say that, Cody, if we played like we should have done, we'd be in the top 4 now, and this would only have been to strengthen the top 4. Now, the Newcastle game. I think we're going to win. Like I said, Cody's with me with 3-0. I'm praying to God it's 3-0 so I can see Brian Ireland bounce into song every 15 minutes on Tottenham away. I'm really looking forward to the forfeits. But you know what? I just hope if we get this win, it's pointless if we don't get a result against United. So, I mean, the next 2 games really are. I mean, like you said, if we can win the next 2 games, I reckon we are in pole position for it. And I reckon, like I said, I actually think at the moment, the way things stood before kickoff today, I think I said it on David's show as well, that I think the Leicester Spurs is going to be like the Man City Spurs years ago, winner takes all to get into the Champions League. And I thought it would have been us in 5th, them in 4th. But if we can get 2 wins back to back now, I reckon it might be the other way, that we're in 4th and we need to beat Leicester. So I was very, very... I don't know. I don't want to say, it can be done, because every time I get my hopes up, they get crushed. But like Cody said, looking at the table now, and I'm trying to be more positive, as you can probably see from my new outlook, I think it's doable. I really, really, really think it's doable. Just let's hope the lads know that. What time is it over there? Kickoff 2:05 in the afternoon.
Yeah, the thing is too about that Leicester game at the end of the season. That's away for us, and Leicester have actually been a lot worse at home than they have been on the road this year. So I'm not going to say that's an advantage to us. You know, we don't know if there's going to be fans, probably not. But I mean, I don't just want 3 points tomorrow. I don't want to be sitting in top 4 just because we've got enough points. I want us to go out there, and I want us to look like a Champions League squad. And I know that's a lot to ask, but I don't want to just win. I want to win with style. I want there to be hunger. I want there to be attitude. I want there to be fight. Just like I want that moment where Carlos Vinicius was standing over top of Ezri Konsa. I want that tomorrow. I want Newcastle to know from the first whistle that they have no chance.
I do. Look, as of right now, I do believe top 4 is in our control right now. Especially with the way that Chelsea game went today. Even without us playing now like today. That top 4 is in our hands. It's up to us now. We win. We beat Newcastle. You know, we have United coming. We beat United. That pulls United in close to us. There's 3 points between us and United then. You know what I mean? And then that opens up 2nd, 3rd and 4th. So for me, I think the next 2 games are crucial. But look, if we beat Newcastle, even if we lose to United, I don't think it's the end of the world. I really don't. I am expecting to maybe lose 1 or 2 of these 9 games on the run, and to win all 9, I think with the back 4, with some of the defense, with the defense we have, I think is a bit unrealistic. But I do think we will accumulate enough points over the 9 games to be able to take top 4. And like for me, we have the easiest running. Apart from United, we have the easiest running. The last game of the season, we have Leicester. Now, it could very well come down to that game. But I would like it done before that. I would like it done before that.
So a question for you guys very quickly. If I could say to you right now, over the next 2 games, you're guaranteed 4 points. Would you take my hand off? Would you bite my hand off right now, or would you say no? I want to try for the 6? Because I would take the 4 right now.
I'd take
I
the
take
4.
4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd
there
take
we
the
go.
4.
And
Nothing
simply
wrong
for
with
the
it.
fact that Leicester and West Ham play each other the same week that we play United.
I didn't even realize that. So yeah,
Yes.
even more so.
So, either one of them's going to drop 3 or they're both going to walk away with 1, right?
Yep.
So that's a big help. So that's why tomorrow for me is even a bigger must win. Like this has got to be bigger than for me. For me, tomorrow's match is bigger than the Caribou Cup, right? I mean, and that sounds silly, but if we don't win tomorrow, it really makes it difficult for top 4. It doesn't put it out of reach, but that means that we need help then from someone else, right?
Yeah,
It's
and
no
not
longer
only
in our own
that, just
hands.
in the context of who we're playing, if we can't beat Newcastle tomorrow, I don't see how we can make top 4 because we should be going out and we should be absolutely destroying them tomorrow. I think one thing that I'm really anticipating for tomorrow is to see what kind of team selection we're going to be looking at because, we all know that the Villa game, there was some messages being sent to some players, and it's one thing to be left out of the squad for one game. Like that's a statement, that's a message. But is it the difference between like a statement and a course correction? Like, are we going to see the same back 4?
Well, do you know what, Cody? You bring up a good point because I said this on David's show straight after the Villa game when I went on with Brandon and Will's show when I had my Levy rant, where when you say team selection, you bang on the money because it's very convenient that Aurier and Alderweireld were injured. And then Toby was able to play 3 games in the international break.
They were ill.
So I think that's it. Ill in, you know what I mean? It was like that's rather. So tomorrow, after Toby's played 3 games, Aurier, I think he played or whatever he's done. But then, like you said, I think it's going to be a very clear statement of who he sees in the future as the squad. So I think that's a really, really good point. I'm still hoping Rodon plays because what I saw of Rodon and Wales was very, very impressive.
Yeah, and it's going to be a big question if we do see a similar team. I mean, obviously you've got Sonny coming back into the fray here, but if we do see a similar setup, especially on the defensive side, is that the team that we're going to see going into the Man United game too, right? So there's a lot to anticipate. There's a lot to anticipate right now, and yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Then you got it with Son as well. I mean, for Son, I don't want him to play more than 65 minutes. With Man U next week and the Carabao Cup coming up, especially after a hamstring, the one thing you don't want to do is start pushing him too hard too soon, because if he stretches it again or rips it, then he's out for the foreseeable. So he's got to be managed very, very wisely, I think.
I think that substitution will all depend on if the game is done or not by 60, 65 minutes. For me, I think if we score 2 tomorrow anyway, I think it's over. I can't see Newcastle getting 2. Look, they're just going to sit back. I do want us to see a lot of ball, to see us having a lot of the ball. I think we will create chances. But one thing I will say is for the first 15 minutes, if you see Tottenham sitting back and enticing Newcastle out, I'm telling you now it's a plan. It's Jose telling, like, instead of getting Newcastle to retreat straight away and try and have to break them down, let them have the ball, encourage them to come out, and then try and take it off them, get in behind, score 1 or score 2. I wouldn't be surprised if that would be a plan that Jose would use for the first 10, 15 minutes.
Good shout.
I think we need to pound them. I just want to see a pounding up. I want to see us win, at least 4-1.
The other way you got to look at it as well is, I mean, I know right now our goal difference is good amongst the challengers, but this is the kind of game where you can really, really, like David just said, if we get a couple of goals early, this could be a game where we could really, really push that goal difference again, like we did after the 6-1s and the 5-2s. Our goal difference was phenomenal at one point. It's still fairly good now compared to
19.
I think
19.
it's Liverpool, Man City, and one other club that got a better goal difference than us. I can't remember who the other team is, I think. But this is an opportunity to really, really.
Now we have a better goal differential than Liverpool right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they have 15.
And
They're plus
coming
15.
Coming into today, we had the same goal difference as Chelsea. So if we go and batter Newcastle by 3, we stretch that to 6 in one weekend, and that's a big mountain for Chelsea to climb.
That's 3 points.
Yeah, we're at plus 19. Chelsea's at plus 16. Leicester's at plus 19, and then Manchester United's at plus 24, and City's at plus 45.
Come on, you baggies!
So right now we have the third best goal differential in the league, tied with Leicester.
There's a real opportunity to really push that out. Really push that out, and that could be vital.
Plus 21 by tomorrow, so easily, at least, hopefully.
And Chelsea still have City, Arsenal, Leicester all to play as well. So that's going to be like that goal difference. If we could stretch that to 6, that's going to be massive, especially since they have City, Arsenal, and Leicester. You know, I think that would be pretty much. I couldn't see them clawing that back, to be honest, with them games thrown in their last 9, and they still have West Ham to play as well. Fulham, who don't give away too many goals at the minute either. So,
no, I know it's difficult to go back into the past and look, but doesn't this situation right now make a lot of those draws just absolutely even more of a bad taste in the back of your throat? I mean, what do you guys think about that? I mean, even just that Newcastle draw or the West Ham draw.
That's the one that I was saying it yesterday. That's the one. The 2 results that have really pissed me off this season, I mean really pissed me off, has been that game and the Brighton away game.
Fulham as well. The first Fulham match really got me.
That was, I mean, that was...
at that time, they were in really bad form.
But the Brighton, I mean, the Brighton game, I mean, the Chelsea loss at White Hart Lane was one of the worst games I've ever seen in my entire goddamn life. But that Brighton game was just pathetic. And the manner of that Newcastle draw just really, and I know Cody will go for me after his expression of his hatred for Newcastle United, that Newcastle draw really frustrated me at the start of the season. Was pathetic.
Well, yeah,
it was typical Newcastle, though, wasn't it? Typical Newcastle ball straight up to the big man. You know, try and win a VAR decision, get back into the game. Typical Newcastle, what you see this season. That one really pissed me off.
Yeah, but David, you got to remember, if you go back and look at the foul that led to that free kick that caused the penalty, it was, I can't remember what player now. You see it, he lunged into but I can't remember the Newcastle player. He actually lunged into Højbjerg to get that free kick. That weren't even a foul to begin with. And the way we played that game was sensational up until then. But yeah, that was a frustrating game.
Yeah.
Honestly, to me, it's just amazing that you can count the number of games and the number of points that we have absolutely pissed away this year. You know, like all the ones you were mentioning, and the Wolves game, and it's just isn't it just unbelievable that we are still in a position right now? Like if we won out, we're literally in control of our own destiny still at this point, and that's with a losing streak. You know, we lost 5 out of 6 games at one point. It's insane. It's absolutely insane that we have this opportunity, and that's what I want the players to take hold of, because every time that we've been gifted that golden opportunity, we've pissed it away. So it's time to change that. It's time to grab the bull by the horns here.
Really is.
Yeah, for sure. And then this is a name I haven't seen in the chat before. So if you're a first-time subscriber to the channel, welcome to the channel. If you just happen to change your name, or maybe you're not a subscriber yet, if you're not a subscriber yet, go ahead and hit that button right there, right? Like it, subscribe it, and ring the bell so that you know when we go on live. But I mean, what do you guys think of his opinion here? He says without COVID, Tottenham would have challenged for the title. I'm all the home games.
I'm kind of torn with this, because yes, the fans would not have accepted such horrible football, and there would have been a bad tension within the ground. But I don't think it would have made any difference. It would have still been the same players. It still would have been the same Jose tactics. COVID can take a lot of responsibility for a lot of things right now, but having the fans there, not there has been huge in a good way and a bad way. I don't think this year we would have challenged for the title, in all honesty, because we needed a couple more players. And I'm not having a pot alleviate this for it. We did need a couple more. Like, if you look at it, we signed 7 players. 2.5 of them, let's call Bow the half, because he's only just been in. Reguilon and Heiberg are the only 2 absolute mainstays. One, as in Doherty, has been a complete nightmare. Hart doesn't play in the Premier League. It's just been so. I reckon if we'd had another couple of players, I'm not going to start mentioning names because we all know a centre back that we should have had and maybe a striker. But then I would have said, yeah, we would have been challenging with the fans. That's my personal opinion.
What do you think about the fans, David? How much of an impact do you think they've played in not being in the stands this season? And would maybe some of those close draws that we gave up in the last 10 minutes would the fans being in the stands made a difference?
It does make a difference. It shouldn't, because they're still being paid the same wage. You know what I mean? So they should still have the same dedication, the same motivation, the same drive to go and win a game. But unfortunately, I do think it has it. Look, you know, it's more of a training ground atmosphere. You can hear it. Like when you have the crowd there, you can't hear certain things. But when there's no crowd there, you can hear absolutely everything. You can hear what the plans are, what the tactics are, the whole shebang. You know what I mean? When you have the crowd there, you can cover that up. And then when you're going forward, you have that the roar behind you. It can inspire you to do something. You know what I mean? I do believe, you know, not having a crowd there is probably made a massive difference. But at the same time, it shouldn't. It really shouldn't. Like, you know, they're paid the same. They should, like I said, they should have the same hunger, the same desire to go and win a title. Winning a title in front of with no fans in the stadium, or winning a title with fans in the stadium, is still winning a title at the end of the day. You know, City aren't going to care that they've won it there with no fans this year. You know, so for me, it shouldn't have made a difference, but they let it get to them, and it just shows the mentality, to be honest.
I'll give you another
that we're always talking about.
I'll give you another prime example. In the Arsenal game and in other games where you've heard Jose say push, 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 they couldn't stop and say, listen, I couldn't hear you because of the crowd, and they didn't listen. And we were privy to hear all that and say, listen, he's telling you to do this, why aren't you doing it? If the crowd's there, and don't get me wrong, the 12th man is the thing, especially with that new massive cop on the white wall, whatever you want to call it, is there. The fans do have a huge impact in the atmosphere and trying to G them up, but I just don't think it would have had an impact on the results. It may have had an impact on the style of football, but I just think there's been a fragmentation this season throughout different parts where I don't think a title challenge would have been this year.
I can tell you, well, there's definitely no way some of the players would have got away with some of their performances this year if there was crowd there. They would have been absolutely booed off the pitch. Some of them players with some of the performances of the team. Example, Sissoko against Chelsea didn't move an inch. You know what I mean? So for me, a lot of these players wouldn't have got away with some of the performances. So they should probably be great or thankful that at stages there hasn't been fans in the stadium. With Jose, look, I can understand, like, you know, people might get restless with the style of the play. But to be honest with you, I actually think there's a lot more Jose in than there is Jose out. I just think that Jose out make a lot more noise.
Cody, what do you think about the fan situation and how that's played on the results?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that we would have contended for a title regardless, unless we had made some different moves in the summer. When you compare our center back pairings to some of the other ones in the top tier of world football, you know, we're not close. We're not close. Our top center back probably doesn't make it into some of the better teams. Maybe we would have had there would have been an impact on some of our home games, but it kind of would have worked out evenly, you know, because there would have been fans in the opposing stadiums as well. So, yes, maybe we wouldn't have given away a few of the draws that we did, but you know, we've had a pretty strong record away from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as well. And I do want to shout out in the comments here, Cricket Records, the Arsenal fan who seems to be on all the different Tottenham streams. Welcome, thank you for coming, and you know,
this is his third time here. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I certainly hope that you enjoy the type of performance that you saw today in Liverpool, because you better get used to it, because I think that is your present and your future. And you know, Will we bottle it again? Maybe, but at least we have something to bottle. You haven't even got anything to play for. Resign yourself to mid-table mediocrity for the next 10 years because that's where you're going to be and that's where you belong.
Do you know what? And I'll
let the Arsenal fans. Probably can't hear me. That's for the Arsenal fans.
Yeah, I've got to say, and I just don't understand. And this literally just goes to show the mentality of the filth. Okay, this literally does. It's like if Tottenham Hotspur lose, yeah, I might watch Arsenal fan TV, but that's it. I don't comment or do anything. But these people literally find their life going on to Tottenham Hotspur streams and commenting. And the comment is Newcastle 3, Bottleham 0. You lost 3-0 to Liverpool today. Your defence gave away 3 goals. I don't understand the mentality. I think for Arsenal fans, 2 + 2 = 8. I just don't understand the logic of literally coming in to try and troll someone when your team has lost 3-0 and you've just opened yourself up like a tin of beans to just literally been battered.
Yeah, listen,
out of
you know what?
Liverpool as well. It's not like Liverpool's been on top
flows
of their
downhill. It doesn't flow uphill. So whatever you want to try and throw up the hill, it's just coming back down on you, bud. Shit flows downhill. So,
well, I'm gonna tell you right now, Samsung and Apple have made a lot of money because all the Arsenal fans have to buy the large versions, like the Samsung Galaxy Note or an iPhone, 12 Plus Pro Max, because the only way you can find yourself on the table without having to scroll down is to have one of those devices.
I just don't understand. This is a team that apparently moved to compete with Bayern Munich. Very good. I can see you competing there. It's very good. I don't think you'll be playing Bayern Munich anytime soon. I go mad about our chairman. You've just been fed lies more than we have. It's now, I don't know where you live in the world, but if you live back home in England, it's now 2 a.m. It's actually 20 to 3 a.m. And you're up on a Tottenham channel. Well,
I've got to make an appointment with my doctor because I think I'm starting to get carpal tunnel from scrolling on my screen trying to find Arsenal in the table. I just can't go low enough. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm double jointed.
So look, and here's an example, right? There you are, way down there at the bottom, right?
Oh, there they are. Okay,
yeah, way down there.
The championship?
But look, so you have Villa, who plays tomorrow, and Crystal Palace, who plays on Monday. And if both of those teams win, you won't be able to find Arsenal on the table without having to scroll up. Because
let's also touch on their captain. And I use that term really, really loosely. That striker that said, I'm the sign this new 350. Yeah, the Gervinho impersonator today.
Haircut.
Yeah, the Gervinho impersonator today. Literally, you sign a contract to become £350,000 or whatever a week it is to score goals, and they all dry up. It's like literally, what are you going to do? Your captain,
you know what?
Turns
I
up
think
late.
He must have used a week's wage on his new hairstyle anyway.
Oh, mate, like I said, Gervinho haircut. It's like, have you heard that joke? Do you remember the guy Gervinho?
Yeah.
That they had. There's a joke that I saw where Gervinho went to a Chinese buffet all you can eat, and it was £10 a head. They charged Gervinho 40 for all the foreheads.
Yeah, I always, but I'll tell you right now, creator, yes, you gotta change your background on YouTube because sometimes I confuse you guys because the text is so small. All I see is a black circle with red words in the middle of it. Even though yours is more like of a pink color, I get confused sometimes. And so you got Creator ES, who's the Tottenham fan, and Cricket Records, who is a gooner.
Oh, Cricket is back.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah, that's
I think that Arsenal not having European football for the first time in 25 years is actually going to be a good thing for them. That way they can focus on that relegation battle that they're bound for next season, right? They can really focus. Just having that one game a week and trying to eke out draws here and there, just to keep their head above water. I think that'll be good for them.
And do you know what? I actually heard an Arsenal fan TV today, and I love this comment. I think it was DT or Lee. and they're talking about how shit the defence was, and they even said this sentence, which I never thought I'd hear in my life: "If David Luiz is out long term, we're fucked." And I was like, "How bad has your team got to be that Sideshow Bob being out for a long time means you're fucked?" I was just like, "Whoa, how the mighty have fallen."
My guess is that Cricket's an American gooner, because that way he would be. It would make sense that he could be awake for most of every stream, right?
Or he's crying all night because they lost and he can't sleep, so he's one of those two, insomnia.
But no,
But, like,
I love
there's
it
a
when they
time
come in. I think it means you've made it, right? If you got gooners trolling you in the chat, that means you're an effective Spurs channel, is what I say. So
100%.
More the
That's
merrier.
it, man. You've hit the nail on the head. No, but honestly, you know, like I admire the shithousery, to be honest with you. But at least do it when you have it. Like, at least do it once you've won. You know what I mean? Not after you've
self-respect. At least have some self-respect. Have some shame.
I mean,
you know?
after Arsenal lose, I'll admit you may find my name in the chat at AFTV putting in a bunch of headphone emojis. That may happen, right? But not after we lose. Like, I wasn't there after the North London Derby putting headphone emojis in the AFTV chat. I mean, that doesn't make sense. Right.
Look, do you know what? I don't blame him for watching Spurs content, honestly. You know, when he has to listen to the likes of AFTV talking about David Luiz and Kieran Tierney, you know, Thomas the Tank Engine in the middle there who breaks down every once in a while, I don't blame him for coming over here wanting to hear about Harry Kane and Son and Højbjerg, the animal, you know what I mean? Especially when they've got a centre midfielder who basically walks off, you know, throws the jersey down on the ground. He's supposed to be their leader. That's the example that's set at that club. I don't blame him for wanting to come over here and listen to greatness, to be honest.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
let's
have some pity. Let's have some pity because, you know, obviously being a Gooner fan, there's clearly a lot of room between those ears for us to be living inside rent free. So, you know, let's have some pity for the guy.
And here's the negative of my new setup. There's a pole right here where my camera sits on an arm, and Awesome All was hiding behind that little black spot, and I couldn't see it. So, welcome to the show, Awesome All. Your mic is muted.
How you doing, Will? Big old David. How you guys doing? Brian, Kobe, how you guys doing?
Good to see you guys, man. How are you?
Fine. How are you? Good to see you guys today.
Good.
Hope you're keeping well, my man.
I know. I'm just chilling. I'm milling. That's all. I was surprised today, though. I mean, Chelsea was going to drop point, and like you said,
well, I never saw that coming in a million years.
I never saw that coming. I mean, because Tuchel was the best coach in the world. That's what I keep saying from Chelsea folk. You know, Tuchel is our best coach. He will never lose anything. We are winning everything. And today,
it was a score line too. Like, if it had lost 1-0, that'd have been one thing. But 5-2.
Yeah, but Will, to comment on that, it wasn't that Chelsea was shit as well. West Brom played incredible football today, or yesterday, should we say? They played unbelievable stuff this morning for us over here. It was a great performance, and especially with the Sam Allardyce team.
Did you guys see the second yellow for Thiago Silva? What did you guys think about that? Because I thought it was getting it did look a little bit dicey, although, you know, a foul is a foul, and, you know, he scissored the left feet right out from underneath him. So, but I mean, to see red for that after 30 minutes, that's really harsh, I thought.
First of all, Cody, he's a Chelsea, so it's always a red. No matter what,
there you go.
It's always a red. But no, look, he was on a yellow before that, and then he made that challenge. Look, for me, your man took the shot. It was late. You know, he's Chelsea. Fuck him. Send him off. I'm happy with it.
I mean, the same thing happened to Lamela, because when you play certain games, that's how you get caught in football. When you want to play, you have to use your hand to guide yourself from the opponent. And the second yellow, I thought that wasn't fair, but it is what it is. Because sometimes when you raise your hand If you hit somebody in the face, that's automatically a yellow. It could be a red. It depends on how bad it is. So in similar situation, I mean, English game, English rules. That's what it is.
Hey, to me, it doesn't matter if it's
Yeah.
Chelsea. I could care less if it's fair or not.
Yeah.
You know,
It is what it
it's
is.
West Brom took advantage of that, of their man advantage, and they punished them. I mean,
They look like prime Barca today. It was awesome. They had some beautiful counter-attacking football as well. It was impressive.
Your man Pereira is a very good player.
Well, yeah, but the
I
thing
think
is, as well, with that sending off,
they assumed they were gonna sit back. That was the assumption. Oh, they were just
what were you gonna
sit
say,
back.
Brian?
We just beat them. We're just gonna sit back, and that was the thing. And some of their players, I think, I know it's not even I think, are over super highly rated. Which is crazy. I looked at Warner. He played in Germany. He had him on the post. Nobody was there. The goalkeeper wasn't there, and he shot the ball.
Werner's been
off
bad
him.
all season, so
He just
You
shot
see
the
that?
ball off.
You
off
see that
his
miss on
guy.
international break as well.
And I'm like, yeah, in Germany it was. Germany.
That's why we call him Beanie Weenie.
He
Yeah.
played. He played
Brian,
with
I think
somebody.
Brian had a point he wanted to say. What were you gonna say,
so
Brian?
no, I was just gonna go back to that sending off. Like what happened with Lamella in the North London derby. Once you've been given a yellow card, for the next 5-10 minutes, just don't do anything stupid. No matter
Yeah.
what team you play for, just once
Yeah.
you've been booked with that yellow, and especially someone as experienced as him, should have realised, like, right, for the next 5-10 minutes, hands behind back. I'm not going to ground. I'm just literally.
Well, look, Lamella's old, but he's not that experienced because what does he play
Lamella's
like
a psychopath.
nine games a year? Like,
Yeah.
he's not actually that experienced, right?
But no, I'm talking about the Chelsea player. I can't. I keep forgetting him.
Silva.
Marco Silva. Yeah, someone as experienced as him, after getting booked, you should be like, I know right now anything I do, A, the player's going to make a meal of it, or B, if it's within a short period and I've just been booked, there's no other way but the referee's going to give me, and that's the rules right now. So I mean, it was just stupid from him, and that's why he got the red. You went in, I think it was 5-10 minutes within. I think shorter than that, wasn't it, from his first yellow, from what I remember. And you walk.
To be honest with you, you're talking about Lamella, right?
No, the Chelsea sending off today.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say something about the Lamella situation, and that brings me to one particular situation about international games. It's gonna be very, 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 very hard for England to win World Cup or Europe Cup, because when you have so much rules in between a particular game, which I'm talking about Premier League or FA Cup, and you go to international game, which the games are played very rough. That's why sometimes if you look at Kane falls in international game, the coach just look at me like, get up, what's up? Get up. That's not, unlike if it's in Premier League, they're going to blow for that. And people kind of hope that will be the thing. Like if you are in college, you're getting playing soccer, you are taught, if you look at the way Gio and Lamella plays, they are always putting their hands up to defend themselves, guide themselves from the defender. If you notice that, because that's how they play in South America. That's how you're taught in South American games. But when you play in England game, Premier League, it's different. You have to kind of know how to put your hands down. And the fact that you're playing and you have to put your hand in the back during penalty or when you're in box 18, that's kind of uncomfortable. Even me, if I was going to be a defender, I'll be very uncomfortable to putting my both hands back and I'm trying to defend the ball. It's just too much crazy rules. But we understand why all the rules are coming out, because people are saying, oh, you kick, because literally players are just kicking the balls into their hand and automatically that's a penalty, So I can reason with that.
And then I'm not sure if this friend here down here in the comments, if he's Korean or not, Mok Hee-an, if you are, 안녕하세요. I wouldn't say that Arsenal beat us. I would say that they got lucky.
We also bet them already this season, and we're ahead of them in the league as well. So
yeah, we beat them 2-0. and then we beat. I would say that we beat ourselves. I wouldn't necessarily that Arsenal beat us.
Arsenal didn't beat us. Arsenal never beat us in that game. We didn't play. We didn't come there to play. We just came there to play because it was different when you come to play, and because the players were upset. Even though you can tell they were upset, you can see that they don't want to play. You can tell that they were just there. Everybody's just there, lingering around, and you can see Bale just walking, literally walking, while Doughty was running up and down the flanks. You can see it was literally just walking back. It was not really like jogging back or anything. Literally walking back.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't call it a beat us, but
I don't think that was a really. If you wanted to say like Tottenham was there,
Cricket Records like changed his background. Creator ES and Cricket Records. Are you the same person?
He is, but I don't know what he's trying to say there with Uber and then
he's saying Aubameyang's better than Kane is what he's trying to say.
Oh God!
Oh dear. So okay, so I want to just pull up one stat. One stat.
Don't dignify this with a response.
No.
I'm
going to say the one stat, and if he can quote the same stat as me for Uber, in the last 48 games for club and country, Harry Kane has been involved in 47 goals, whether it's been scoring or assists, and that's for England and Tottenham Hotspur, not the filth and Gabon. So a bit of a higher standard. So if Cricket Records can come back to me and say Uber has been involved in 47 goals in the last 48 games, fair play to you.
So Cricket Records thinks that Aubameyang is better than Kane.
Wrong.
When it comes to being late and getting disciplinary issues, yes, he is much better. much better. Fantastic.
Or getting spanked and putting time out for showing up late to practice.
Exactly. Or having to write lines like the beginning of The Simpsons. I will not be late. I will not be
late. Who am I?
My managers who's the same age as he is.
That's Cody. Where's Cody gone? Where's Cody gone?
Oh no, I'm Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Listen, if he's just trying to wind us up, right?
That's what AFTA calls him.
Let's not dignify this guy with a response.
I think it's the same person because it's like a magic that I said you should change your circle because they look too much the same, and then all of a sudden it changed. Creator, yes, come on, man. You can't be like trolling both sides. Although it is fun. You are adding content to the stream, and I appreciate that if that is the case. So
yes, I mean, Cody, the good thing is I will dignify it with a response because every single thing he's come with has just been stupid.
He'll say anything.
My 14-month-old niece who can't even speak English yet is speaking more sense than cricket. So
you know what? Give the guy credit. If you're gonna be a gooner, you might as well be delusional while you're at it because that's the level of commitment that it takes. You literally have to be fucking insane to not only support that club but think these opinions and put them in writing on the internet. Like, show your face. Let us know who you are so that we can further embarrass you. My God, you've already embarrassed yourself.
Well said, Dan.
Yeah, better scoring own goals than
that one against Burnley was a classic. Do you know what? Maybe if he had his new hairdo, it might not have gone in.
Listen,
rather than his kid and play.
I want to go back. I want to go back to one of the comments that asked who we think is going to start on the right side, like right wing, right back.
That's a good topic to talk about. I'll bring it back up.
Yeah. So Brian, who do you think is starting on the right hand side?
So I've got two things. This now. I think Bale has to start against Newcastle. Yeah. It'll be ultra defensive, and this is a game where he really could do some damage. But I think he needs to be a sub against Man U because if he doesn't track back and there's Rashford or whoever and Shaw, we're going to get absolutely roasted down that side. So for Newcastle, Bale, and Manchester United, Bergwijn, Lo Celso, and Bale off the bench to affect the game should we need him.
I'd go Lamela against United on the right hand side.
That's a red card.
For who?
For Martial. For Martial or someone like that would be a red card, Brian.
No argument for me.
I forgot about that handbag at 10 paces.
It happened before. Yeah. It happened before, though. You guys know that in the beginning of the season. It happened before. Remember, the referee should have given both of them red card. Actually,
100%.
Yeah.
Martial and him. So if it was on the thing, yeah, you're right. It's gonna be a red card. Definitely, it's gonna be a red card. It's gonna be a red card. But
I just think against United, with how well they can move the ball on their day and how well they look after it, I do think someone like Lamela would be crucial. Just running around, causing a nuisance, getting back, helping the right back. I mean,
Lamela's, that was his first sending off.
But
He has had like 30 yellow cards, but
you can see the steam coming off Will's ears when we talk about Lamela.
Big time. But David, I think they said on your show as well, is the thing I don't like about Lamela coming onto the right. For some reason, it tends to be that we push Lucas out to the right and Lamela goes central. And right now, Lucas has to stay central. Has to.
Yeah, that's what I said. I don't care if Lamela plays on the right, but as long as Lucas stays central, I don't want Lamela creeping over into his space and forcing. It seems like even if the plan is for Lamela to play right wing, it's like he always creeps out of position and pushes more to the right, regardless of what happens.
yeah,
I don't like that.
That brings me to my thought that I'm about to ask you guys, right, based on what they're saying. Who is the best 10? Lucas, Gio?
Right now, Lucas Moura, no doubt.
So
right now,
maybe because Gio hasn't played for a while. Because I thought, let me ask this: who do you think is going to be? Who is the best 10? Lucas, Gio, what's his name? The guy that plays next to Oiberg.
Ndombele.
Ndombele, Lucas, Gio, and Lamela. Who do you think? Because the reason I'm saying that is because Ndombele scored a particular. That should be the best goal of the season from that 10 spot. So now I'm asking, who do you think is the best 10? Because I think Ndombele should be playing 10, but I understand why he's not, because we need.
I think right now it's Lucas Moura, but that Lucas isn't here to stay. We've seen this over the course of time with him. It's like riding a roller coaster. It's good Lucas, bad Lucas, good Lucas, bad Lucas, and I think that we can't really consider him as a consistent option at that number 10. He's playing the best right now. He provides the best pressing, and he seems to be a lot more effective in the middle of the pitch than he has been on the outskirts, down the sidelines. But I think in the long term, like if we're talking about for tomorrow, Lucas is an obvious choice. If we're talking about this time next year, I would like to see Ndombele in that number 10 for sure, because that will mean that either we've integrated Ollie Skip beside Højbjerg as an excellent midfielder, or we've brought in another option, because, doesn't it just kind of seem like we're wasting Ndombele's talents by playing him so deep? And doesn't it seem like we're exposing him to unnecessary, physical abuse by making him play in that middle part of the pitch as opposed to playing in the final third where we've seen those moments of absolute brilliance? That would be my hope. Tomorrow, wouldn't be surprised to see Lucas, but in the future, definitely I see Ndombele as our future 10.
But what I would like to see after we get some quality defenders in, is, and kind of like what Alistair Gold had to say, that we're looking for one, and that's why I think, because he even said that he kind of cast a doubt on some of the connections between us and some of the younger center backs, that we were looking for someone with a little bit more, maturity and quality. I mean, is Varane on the table? I know it's been kind of quiet, but is that something that Josie maybe, picking up the phone and calling a guy? I mean,
wasn't he the one that brought him through at Real Madrid? Wasn't he the one that gave him a chance?
Yeah,
I believe so. Look, I wouldn't write it off the table, Look, everyone has this, everyone has this theory that Jaws is toxic, stuff like that. And sometimes it can become toxic. But one thing, every player that's played underneath him, a majority of them, they've all loved him. They've all absolutely loved him and loved playing for him. And I've listened to a load of, because Jaws is such a topical debate, I've gone out my way to listen to loads of podcasts about players that have played underneath him. And they do stuff for him that they wouldn't do for any other manager.
Especially all the top quality ones.
Yeah, exactly. Like Echo, famous quotes. You know, Jose Mourinho's the only manager that could ever get me to play out on the wing. You know what I mean? If you ever needed him to fill in and stuff like that. No. So yeah, that's my opinion.
So you've also got. I'll add on to that and then go back onto the Ndombele situation. You've got Zlatan saying he's one of the people that I'd actually risk my life for. Like Will just mentioned on. A lot of people, like you look at the Luke Shaws or the Paul Pogbas that have had bad things to say about, but when you look at the elite of the elite that have worked under Jose, they've all got this winning mentality. This is why they have the medals. This is why they have everything. Do I think Varane is in discussion with Jose or Jose trying to talk to him? Oh, 100%. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Do I think Tottenham could get it over the line because of a certain person that I'm not bad mouthing for another 24 hours and then the shackles are unleashed because Passover is over? Never going to happen. But going back to Ndombele, don't get out of those whole number 10s. Ndombele, hands down, is the best player. Hands down. And I honestly think this season, I've had a bit of a theory for this all season now, and it's coming. I think he's played him with Højbjerg, A, to get his fitness up, B, to get him a better understanding of that position, because I reckon Ollie Skip's coming in, and it's Højbjerg, Skip, Ndombele. You've got to remember, hopefully there's Sabitzer. And he's going to move Ndombele forward. And then if Skip needs a rest, because you've got to remember he's only 19. I know he's played a lot of games, but he may want to rotate him a bit or even give Højbjerg a rest. Then he's got 3 people that have played that defensive midfielder where he could just keep interchanging to keep them all fresh. So I think, and this is just my belief, I said, I think Ndombele's been put in that position to learn the position. So he has the 2 of Skip and Højbjerg as the main 2, but should he need to rotate, there's a ready-made person there. That's my opinion on that one.
For me, sorry, just quickly. For me on Ndombele, look, every time I look at him in the middle, I get so frustrated because, look, I believe he can be the next Moussa Dembele. There's shades of that in him with boys bouncing off him, how good he can be on the ball. Like when he's on it, he can drive you from one end to the pitch to the other. I do believe that they're trying to coach him to play there long term. My doubt over it is his fitness. His fitness is a major problem for me because he does it in bursts in games. He doesn't do it consistently like Moussa used to do or stuff like that. But I do genuinely believe they're trying to play him there because if they can get him 100% fit and bouncing up and down from box to box, we hands down have the best midfielder in the league without a shadow of a doubt.
So I'm just reading a report here that says that his contract talks with Real Madrid, going back to Varane, have ceased. So he's already, the contract's done. He's got 1 year after this year, and it looks like they're wanting about £65 million. Would you go? Is he that good that you go in for him over somebody like, paying 55 to 60 million for Skriniar or 30-40 million for Milikovic?
So let me just get this out of the way straight away. So I'm going to have to badmouth a certain person right now, but I'm going to do it in a very elegant way. This has got, like we have with Real Madrid, who, as we know, Real Madrid and Barcelona are flat broke. Their debt is out of control. Now we had Jack Grealish, Aston Villa, who was a lot more gettable, a lot more doable, who were in a hell of a lot of trouble for tax issues. He was a done deal, easy, pay the money, you got him, and we screwed it up. Now, if everything you're saying, Will, puts it in our favour, the contracts are broken down, Real Madrid are in debt, the Jose Mourinho link, that all sinks in, so do you know what, he's gettable. But as I call it, Levy Poker will begin, where we'll have a first offer of like 15 million and a multi-packet of Monster Munch crisps. Then we might add a packet of Skittles, and then we might give him an Oyster card. And then they'll go, listen, just give us 40 million, and he'll go 32 and a half and a Blockbuster video card and a Pizza Hut voucher. This is the only thing that worries me when there's deals that are easily doable, and it's just very, very simple. And you've got to remember, these clubs, sometimes they're flat broke. Now, I understand business is cutthroat, but when a player of that kind of ilk comes up and you're getting him at a bargain basement price, Don't try and smash the basement. Just
Why-
pay
why-
the goddamn price.
If it's 65 million pounds, right, about 70 million euros, 65 million pounds, right? And you say, if you're Daniel Levy and you say, I will give you, like, this is what I would do. I'll give you 50 and we'll take Bale on a second year, which saves Real Madrid 15 million pounds, right?
No, look.
Why
Well,
would
he
Real
still
Madrid
wouldn't
not
do
want
it.
to pass on that?
You're talking about a man who cuts the pockets off his trousers as soon as he buys them. You know what I mean? I couldn't see him doing it. I really couldn't. Look, Will, I think that's a great shout for Rant. You know, it's not a player that many people have put links to. I think it's a great shout. I'd love him.
But is he better? Do you think he's better than Skriniar and Milinkovic, or do you think?
I think he's better than Milinkovic. Skriniar.
He's the one I want.
Two different type of players, in my opinion. Look, Varane, he's very fast. He can get back on the cover. You know what I mean? Whereas Skriniar, for me, kind of reminds me of like a Vidic, someone of that ilk. Two different sort of defenders. If you could have the two of them in a partnership, it'd be a dream.
Who's older? Is it
Varane is 27.
And Skriniar's what, 25?
25, I think. 26.
Skriniar's been the one I've wanted. I mean, Cody, what do you think?
But he's going to cost almost about the same, I think.
You know what? It's okay to dream. It's okay to dream for all of us. But if you're talking about Daniel Levy or Tottenham Hotspur becoming something that they've never been before, then you're being a little bit deluded. So what do I think? I think, we're probably going to do the realistic option. If it's cheaper to bring in somebody that's a little more unproven and maybe a little bit younger, someone who probably hasn't realized their ceiling, that is a reality that I can see happening. I don't see us going out and paying top dollar like Man City did for Ruben Diaz. So, yeah, you know what? I just hope that we at least invest in the club, that we keep Jose. Because I just don't understand how we could even sack Jose if what they say is true and that we have to sell players in order to buy them. But, a perfect world.
Coming out, Cody, is that Jose is here next season regardless, whether we get top four or not.
I certainly hope so because, listen, like I've said on multiple streams, to the Jose out crowd, if Jose goes, Harry Kane goes behind him. Really, the only thing keeping Kane from coming out and publicly demanding that he go to a club that he can win trophies at is the fact that we have a manager right now that has a history of winning trophies. And, I certainly there are things that could happen from now until the end of the season that would change my opinion. In particular, if we were to go to Newcastle tomorrow and lose, I would probably have a hard time backing the manager. But let's just hope that regardless of whether or not we make top four, because even though there is opportunity there, I wouldn't say that it is a given that we will make top four. And, it's probably more unlikely than not. But we shouldn't be putting Jose's job on the line as to whether or not we make top four. That's like asking a chef to make a masterclass dish without giving him the proper ingredients. So,
Yeah, it's like you said as well. It comes to the point where you look at it and you look at someone like Steven Gerrard. Now, don't get me wrong, Steven Gerrard won so many things at Liverpool, so many things. But there was a time when he could have gone to Chelsea when they hadn't won a lot. And he was very, 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 very close to doing it. And then he realised, you know what? If I win one trophy at Liverpool, it's going to mean more to me than winning 10 at Chelsea.
Yeah.
And Harry Kane has got that love for the club. There is no doubt in it whatsoever. And I think Jose, like we all said, is a huge thing because I believe if we can keep Jose or Jose stays, he is the key behind Harry Kane staying. Because if we get rid of another manager and just bring in another, whoever it may be, he's going to go, oh, what, another manager here? But how many times do I have to go through a manager? You've got me the number one manager in the world for trophies. I'm going to commit to you. I think he is so vital. Keeping Jose next season to me is the biggest signing of the season we could do.
People will call us Jose sexuals right now.
That's how I feel. I mean, as I said to you from the beginning, when we first signed Jose, I was like, I even put on Toronto Spurs with Dancing with the Devil. I can't believe this, and I was fuming. Then the documentary, I was like, I saw the other side of Jose. Then we started winning. It was like, okay, I'm with him. Then we had that blip, and I was like, get him out of my club. And then I obviously realised what I always knew anyway. Bored out Jose in, but I think he is absolutely pivotal to Harry Kane and Son's staying.
Yeah. Listen, I don't want to backtrack, but I have to, because I originally asked like who we thought was going to start on the right-hand side like 20 minutes ago,
yeah,
and I never really got to have my say about it. And I have a theory, because we have certain options, right? We've got Bale, we got Lamela, we got Bergwijn. And what I'm looking at is between now and the Carabao Cup final, we've got 4 games. And to me, it's beyond the point for Jose to be taking chances starting Gareth Bale. I think Gareth Bale has proven that he's basically, when it comes to the big games, he's only going to be an asset off the bench. And how I interpret that is that when we go to the Carabao Cup, we're going to be looking at either Lamela or Bergwijn. Now, Bergwijn hasn't got a whole lot of game time here since, I don't know, New Year's, since the Liverpool game, basically. He's kind of been on the outskirts. But when you look at who you want to start that Carabao Cup final, I think that the fate of that position is crucially intertwined with what happens in these next 4 Premier League games. So if we need a fit and confident Bergwijn going into the Carabao Cup, I can see him getting some time. And I don't know, because we know that Lamela can't make 90 minutes, right? Either he's going to get injured or he's going to get sent off, one of the two things. And I know he's only been sent off once, but part of the reason he's only been sent off once is because we know that when he gets a yellow, it's time to substitute him, right? He's been managed from that perspective. So, yeah, it'll be very interesting both tomorrow and next weekend to see what we do on that right-hand side, especially with the corresponding questions we have at right back.
Just on Bergwijn. Look, I think if we bring back in Bergwijn, we're going back to a stage in the season where we were at before, where we had nothing coming off that right-hand side. And for me, I think that's going backwards. Look, if Bergwijn gets a chance, it's up to him to start taking them. If he gets a couple of appearances off the bench over the next couple of games, it's up to him to come on and take them. But for me, I don't think he's anywhere near contention for selection for the Carabao Cup final.
Who would you start at right wing for the Carabao Cup final then? If you had to decide right now, who would you start against Man City?
I'd start Lamela.
Right. And then Lamela gets a card after the 10th minute. What do you do? Like it's just like...
Yeah, I know.
It's like
there's a lot being made about Lamela getting cards, right? I get it. But he's been sent off once this season against Arsenal. You know what I mean? A lot of the times it has worked. His aggression has worked out in our favour. A lot of the times. Even if he's not producing this, the way it's the impact his aggression can have on the team. It gets us playing further forward. Like Fulham comes to mind. When he came on against Fulham, he got us back up the field, completely changed the course, the way that game was going. I just think calling for Bergwijn back, I do think it is going backwards. I do think it's creating a problem that we had halfway through the season on that right-hand side.
You know what? I get that. And you know what? The other thing to consider too is that when it comes to a cup final, you know that the referees' whistles are more likely to be in their pocket. So Lamela is going to have a little bit more freedom to do his Lamela things and shithouse and take his chances. There's going to be a little more reluctance to be pulling out that second yellow to send him off. So, yeah, he might be the X factor. Absolutely.
Even if it's a case that we start Lamela, because, look, City are going to have a lot of the balls. You are going to have someone who's going to run around. And I don't think Bale is that person. But what you could do is, come 60, 70 minutes, you could take Lamela off. You could bring on Bale or you could bring on Bergwijn, depending on the situation of the game. If we're 1-0 up and Lamela's on the card, come 60, 70 minutes, take him off, bring Bergwijn on. If we're chasing the game, you take him off, you bring on Gareth Bale. But we definitely have options there anyway, lads, that's for sure. But look, lads, it's 3:20 here. I'm up in about 5 hours. So I'm going to bunk off here now. But it's great coming on and having a chat with every single one of you. Nice to meet you, awesome all. Brian,
Yeah, nice to meet
absolute
you.
pleasure.
Nice
You
to
have
meet
me in
you.
Always,
stitches,
brother.
same as you, Cody. You know, you make me laugh, man. I have to give you that. And Will, I told you I'd keep my promise. You know I love coming on here. You know I want to show you the sport. And
Well-
lads, I've absolutely loved it. It's been brilliant this last hour.
Get some sleep, and if you're well rested tomorrow, we'll be on here as well. So you're welcome then as well. I mean, you don't have
Ireland's
don't
number
feel
one
obligated.
Spurs fan, David Harris. Subscribe, like, comment, do it all. Send those.
Yeah,
super
I'm
The
chats.
sure
Irish
everybody
Hotspur.
here, although there are some new folks here, and we've actually had quite a few steady. It's been steady at 30 tonight, which has been great. It's usually steady around 20, 25. So if you are new and you haven't heard of the Irish Hotspur, do go over and check them out. I saw that Rono Kana, he subscribed to you for the first time today. So
I've just
Big up.
responded to a question he asked me as well.
yeah, he's been here for a while. So David, do feel you probably should promote, because I mean, not there's a ton of people here, but the ones that there may be some unique individuals here based on some of the Korean language that I've put in my descriptions that people are searching for. So
I tell you what, I'll promote Will and you can transfer to Korean. How's that?
all right. 만약에 데이비드 채널 모르면은 거기 가서 구독해가지고 좋아도 하십시오. I said, if you don't know who David is, go over to his channel, subscribe, and like all of his videos.
Brilliant. Absolutely love it. Of course, lads, look, on my channel, we like to have long, passionate debates, structured debates. We don't talk shit. We come up with some good nicknames for the players, and we have a bit of a laugh as well, a bit of a fun. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy everyone's company here as well. Every single one of you come onto my channel in the comment section and everything else. Awesome. You sent in a few super chats as well, my man. Appreciate that. But look, lads, you know, I've enjoyed listening to your opinions, some great opinions. And everyone, if there's anyone new here who is hesitant of smashing the subscribe button on Will Stewart THFCRants, do not be hesitant. You're going to regret it. Smash that like button. You can come on here and you can just sit here. You can be quiet and take everything in, or you can come on and rant. But whatever you do, make sure you show my guy Will some support. I genuinely do believe he has a big thing going on here at this time of the night and everything else. Well, time of the night for me, time of the evening for you guys over there, of course. So honestly, everyone get over, smash the subscribe button and show him the support. Same with Brian Daigle and Tottenham away as well. You know, big up all the lads. Honestly, lads, it's been an absolute pleasure. But I'm off. I'm going to bed. I'm going to get up tomorrow, pumped for this Newcastle game. I hope to see every single one of you at some stage on whatever
You will
channels
do, brother.
we're on tomorrow.
Let's get a
You
big
will
come
do,
on, you
brother.
Spurs, before you hit that go button.
We're going to smash the tune 3-0. Come on, you Spurs. Let's go.
Come on, you Spurs.
So I've just got to come in because Cricket Records is back with this great comment that he sets himself up for me to just tear him a new one. So we will win the Europa League this year. We will win the Europa League next year. We're going to win We're going to win the Premier League, the Champions League, the Carabao Cup, and the FA Cup. So Manchester City, who are the best team on the planet at the moment, have the chance of doing it. No other team in the world has ever done it. Yet they have a country and a billionaire supporting them. And you have Stan Kroenke. You haven't won the Europa League. And I'll tell you what, if you do the quadruple next season, I will give you £100,000 that I don't even have. That's how obvious I will rob banks wherein Cricket Records or Clueless Records is the king of the world and rob the bank with my name and address on it to give you that 100 grand, because you've got about as much chance of winning the lottery in Israel, and I guarantee you don't live in Israel. So Cricket Records or Clueless Records, as I'm going to name you, keep your noise down, because you are talking you are writing checks your ass can't clear. So yes, good evening, sir. That's my rant for him over.
Yeah, no, I mean, I mean, let's say, okay. I mean, if you look at a lot of the Tottenham channels, I think that one of the things that I really enjoy about, you know, all of our channels and what we do is that, yeah, we'll goof around and have a good time, but there's really sound, logical opinions.
Yep.
For most everybody, right?
Yep.
For most everybody. When I watch AFTV, the level of intellect is about equal to their position on the table.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say about that.
It's right. They're up for being top of the bottom half this season, so at least they'll be top of something.
Yeah, you've got to be. I mean, we don't rant on. I mean, we have far more historical success as far as you want to talk about length of time as being a successful club than they do, right? They have a very short period of time that they were very successful, and that's great. But that was like 20 years ago, right? Let's get over ourselves a little bit.
It's what idiots!
Let's get over ourselves, fellas. Let's get over ourselves.
What idiots!
That's right. Tottenham fan. We're all Tottenham fans here. Welcome to the show. This is the first time I've seen you in the chat. But we've had 3 new subscribers tonight while we've been going live.
Congrats!
Yeah.
Keep it going. Everyone like, subscribe,
We need
share.
4 more to get 200. We need 4 more to get 200. So if you're here and you're watching the stream and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let's get to 200 tonight. That'd be great. Let's break
That would be
200.
awesome.
I wanted to say something though.
Sure.
This is reality here. Reality check. We have a £1 billion stadium. If you have to rob the bank, borrow the money, get the players that can be in the same level as a stadium. Because if you have a player that's the same level as a stadium, I'm looking at your background. I can see how everybody is flooded in the stadium, right? You have people flooding in that stadium over and over and over that you can make that money 10 times more. If you invest in your players and people see that you have good players, people will want to come there and watch the players. It's not like when you say, oh, I just want to make the money and forget about the players. Because if you keep buying bootleg player, we're supposed to have Bruno Fernandes. But you let it go. We have all these players that you can buy cheap. And look at where they are right now. The guy has Aston Villa. Right now, I'm like crying like, why wouldn't you buy the guy? Look at Skriniar. You left Skriniar to go and buy Rodon. And look at the difference now. I mean, we are wasting time, wasting opportunity, and some players are just sitting on the contract and making money. So, oh, the bosses are going cheap. Let's all go cheap too. But you're gonna get a cheap result. Now you have a best coach in the world with bad players. You are asking me, okay? That's why I'm gonna go to this question that I'm gonna ask you guys. Since Jose have been there, okay, we have Jose out, Jose in, folks. But let's just be on plane, and I'll let each person go through. Since Jose have been there, which players have not been improved under Jose? That they have not been improved. Harry Kane, just Harry Kane. I will start with Harry Kane. Harry Kane came to Jose's office during the Amazon show. He said, "I'm gonna make you get up here." And since Kane has been playing under Jose, all over the world they've been talking about Kane and Son, triple Kane and Son. When Son was there, since Son has been working with Kane, you have seen them how different the level, how high these players have gone. But still, you still have Jose out, Jose in. You don't want to invest in players. You don't want to. You have a stadium that people want to come. It's 62,000 people. You can make money, make way much money if you bring best players there. If you win the Champions League as a club, if you win the Premier League, if you win the FA Cup, you guys can go. That's my point on that.
Yeah, but you're talking too much common sense, and that's the problem. Is we don't have a common sense
Yeah, I think it's best Cody answers this question rather than me, in case we might have another.
No, you go first, Brian. You go first.
No. I'm being serious. No, I mean, awesome. I don't know how much you've seen of me on this channel or on any channels, but when it comes to the board and the chairman, I don't think you'll find another fan as what's the word I should use? Volatile, as disgusted, and as dead against him as you will find in me. Mexico Spurs, who is in the chat, is one that is definitely with me. I can't stand the man, and like you said, the players we could have had, and for the amount of money that we've could have invested. The stadium is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, and I've said it before. The business side, on the business side of football, he is the greatest chairman that there has ever been, and ever likely to be. He's that good. That's and I will go on record over and over and over again saying on the business side, he's a genius. On a footballing side, he could be in Dumb and Dumber 3 because he hasn't got a clue. Cody will say some other things about the players that we kind of have brought in, and some of them he's right. But as I've said before, it's kind of how I said it with I can't remember what player I was talking about yesterday. Rodham. So Rodham is, if you compare it to Skriniar, if we'd got Skriniar, we would have bought the diamond. But Rodon is a lump of coal that we hope to turn into a diamond. And a lot of the time, Tottenham go and buy these lumps of coal, expecting them to turn into diamonds, when a lion's share of the time they don't. Don't get me wrong, if you find players that are available, like Dele Alli, who was a great buy at the time, and we will make money on, and there's been other transfers that we have made money on, that's all well and good. But if you can imagine, if you could have picked two of these players out of the people I'm about to give, Skriniar, Fernandez, I keep forgetting his bloody name, guy at Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes, yeah. So you got Skriniar, Fernandes, Grealish, Dybala. Just out of those four, if you could put two in that team currently, we would be in the top four. We would probably still be in Europa. And that's the issue we have. If you look at it now, what did they want for Skriniar originally? 45 million. But we couldn't come to that 45. Inter Milan, look at the season he's had. They're now saying 75. So 45, for that little 10 million that we couldn't get over the line, his value has somehow increased 30 million. So even if we had him there's a 20 million difference where if you just put in the 10, Fernandez was 50. If we could have, if it's Fernandez, who again, I think it was 10 or 15 million, his value from when he signed for Man U, whatever the value, has gone up sky high. Grealish, we could have had, I think it was for 25 million, and we started with 3 million and Josh Onoma.
I don't even think it was that much.
Yeah, no, I think it was 6, but I think originally it was whatever. But and then you look at Dybala, and apparently it's just these players. Like I said, if you could pick any two, it doesn't matter what combination you'd have picked out of those four. And there's other people I could have mentioned. It's like even going back before, Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard was ready to join for Spurs. Redknapp had the deal done. What happened? He wouldn't get it over the line. That's the issue, and that's what annoys me with him. And with the stadium, once the fans come back, there's not, we're in a lot of debt. But if we needed to get 300-400 million to go get a transfer player, to get a transfer budget, they can go to a bank and say, listen, this is Tottenham Hotspur, look at our assets, and get it. Or more to the point, Daniel Levy has the balls to go and speak to someone on a yacht in Bermuda or Barbados or wherever in the Caribbean he bloody well is right now, because he does not get off this scot-free, and say, you're worth 4 billion, give me 200 million. And that's the problem within the club. And now, Cody, see, I told you should have gone first. I went on a tangent and I shouldn't have done.
No, this is going to make you even more mad, okay?
I don't.
So we'll throw this up on screen just for fun.
Please don't.
So the folks at home can see. All right, so this is Bruno Fernandez's rating now. He's rated at 7.65, which is higher than almost every midfielder we have. His value here now, which and on Sofa score, it's usually about 10 million euros low, right? They go on the low side. So he's sitting at about 83 million euros. He was bought for only 55 million euro. So that means he's increased almost 30 million euros in and 2/3 of a season. 2/3 of a season.
It's almost Sunday, so I can feel my rage realizing that Pesach is coming to an end. So it's slowly.
You got an hour and 35 minutes.
Yeah, but no, it doesn't end until Sunday evening. So
Oh,
I've got to be good for another 20. I've got to be good for another 24 hours odd.
All right.
Cody, over to you, sir, because I'm going to get infuriated.
Well, I don't disagree with the points that you make, and of course, I think you could probably look to just about any club in English football or football worldwide, and if you look at the mistakes that are made, because there are no perfect clubs out there. Everyone makes mistakes in the transfer market, and I know that the thing is, I'm not really that qualified. I really am not qualified to have an opinion on the ownership because I've only been following the club closely for a fraction of the amount of time that fans and supporters like Brian have. So, I don't have that scar tissue built up where I've been cut time after time by the ownership. Discussions like this help me understand the context in which some of these moves are made. I'll give you an example. The other day I went on and I was doing a little bit of research on our transfer history, and I looked at Dimitar Berbatov as an example, a player that we bought for X amount and sold for about 3 times what we paid for him after about 2 years. And he then went on to only score, a little bit more than what he scored for us. On paper, that looks like good business. But when you apply the context of where Spurs were at that point, as I have learned from listening to people like Brian, you can definitely understand why there is kind of like a post-traumatic stress disorder that goes on with people who have had to deal with ENIC over the course of 20 years. That being said, as someone who doesn't have that type of bias built up, all I have to do as a Spurs fan is look at our opponent tomorrow for an example of what we could have become if we had have got into the wrong hands as of owners. And there's not just Newcastle are not an anomaly. When you ask people who think that ENIC should sell the club, they would like to buy Spurs, the list is very short. Even when you are counting the current owners within the Premier League, there are way, way worse owners in worldwide sport than ENIC. Have they made the right decisions? Who knows? To me, I look at the entire picture. I look at the infrastructure that we have as a club. I look at, and I know that it gets old for Spurs fans who are longing, and I long as well, but not in the same way because I'm not, I'm an international fan. So it's hard for me to long in the soul the same way that someone like Brian does, who has been to a bunch of games and was a season ticket holder at one point. It's very difficult for me to have the same level of empathy there. But, basically, if you offered ENIC to every single English club, most of them would snap your hand off to take them because they are good at the business side. And it is tough.
Don't
to
feel bad for Brian because he's the only one of us here who was a fan when we were wearing that shirt. Now that's not the one from it, but Brian was the only one of us here to actually see us win a European trophy.
Yeah,
so,
1984.
Yeah, you know what? When I'm looking at the trajectory of the club since ENIC took over, and let me put it this way: Spurs were purchased by ENIC for £22 million. We are now worth £1.624 billion. Now, trophies aside, and I know that in the end, as football fans, we all want trophies. You cannot deny that Enoch have come in and have improved this club. And you could argue that the fact that we expect a certain level of success is only because of what they've built here. 20 years ago, you would have never said that a year in which we didn't make the Champions League was a failure. And now we have that level of expectation. My hope is that we are still traversing the grand plan, and that the final piece of the puzzle, the final domino to fall, is proper investment in the football club. And of course, I feel like the situation that we find ourselves in with COVID and whatnot, everybody has to deal with COVID. I'm not trying to bail them out because of that. But of all the clubs that are having to deal with it, we're the only ones that have that brand new shiny diamond of a stadium that should be filled to the tits every single match day and providing that, up to $500 million in revenue for us each season. Now, so it's hard. I definitely understand Brian's point of view, and I respect it. And I just, for me as a newer fan, all I want to do is like further educate myself on why there are a number of Spurs fans that feel that way. Because, yeah, if Enoch are truly bad for our club, then I would want them out as well. But when you multiplied the value of the club, 74,
the value in that club is all in real estate.
So yeah, Cody, let me give you an example with that Berbatov deal to try and give you a bit more of an understanding why Spurs fans went mad. And then I'm going to come out with a famous quote to this, where I put Levy on both ends of the spectrum of this quote for both the business side and the football side. But with the Dimitar Berbatov thing, and this has happened on many, many occasions, but Dimitar Berbatov is the most high-profile one I can remember so far. Dimitar Berbatov was a joy to watch, a breath of fresh air, a Bulgarian that no one had heard of. Like some, when he came from Germany, this player was like, Jesus goddamn Christ. This was a darling of Tottenham, a star of Tottenham. And we weren't nowhere near where we are now. But with Daniel Levy, what he used to do is like, not selling. That deal went through minutes before transfer deadline day. So not only did we sell our star for 30 million and got Fraser Campbell in response, we'd strengthened an enemy or a rival minutes before the deadline deal, the deadline day was over, with no chance to sign a valid replacement. Like you said, right, the business side of it, and that's what gets all the Spurs fans. The money side of it, again, Tottenham won, or Levy won. But when I say to you, let's just say, I'm going to try and say it now. Obviously, I don't know American sports as well as you guys. Let's just say, and I don't know how the transfer system works. It's like saying to the LA Lakers, 2 minutes before, let's say, the deadline day, I'm going to take LeBron James and I'm going to give you this youth player that has never played before, and that's what you're going to get. Plus I'll give you a bit of money, but I'm taking LeBron James minutes before you can do anything about it. Minutes where there's no possibility of getting another deal done, and I'm going to give you a nobody just to try and sweeten the deal, and he does it, which is unacceptable. And then I can't remember who has this famous saying, but one of you guys may know. It's not a football quote or anything. There's a saying that goes, I'm not going to have a problem if you aim high and miss, but I'm going to have a real problem if you aim low and hit. Now, on the business side, he's exceeded all expectations. But on the footballing side, when we've been so close to greatness, he's aimed low and hit. Because if he had just put in that little bit of effort, we could have been right. I'm not saying a Man City, I'm not saying a Chelsea or an Arsenal or a Man U where the league's dominating for years and years and years, but it could have been there. It could have been there. And that's the annoying thing with Levy.
And for me, it's that all the value in the club is in real estate right now.
Oh, Jesus, goddamn idiot. Clueless,
I mean,
goddamn records.
We would, you know, it's $1 billion stadium. So for 1.6 billion, that's $1 billion for the stadium. Because in real estate, like when you pay $500,000 for a house, or $100,000 for a house, or $200,000 for a house, the value goes up. It doesn't go down. So if that's what you paid for, that's what the value is. And then the training center's got to be worth at least 600,000 pounds, right? So the value of the club is really just in the property that the club holds.
Well, it's in the players as well. But listen, I do want. You know what?
You really only have like 5 players that are worth money.
I can totally understand why long-suffering Spurs fans would want ENIC to sell, but ENIC out is not a plan on its own. ENIC out doesn't really mean that the next owner is going to come in and be better at what they do than ENIC. And so until you can like present like a viable option to me as someone who's going to come in and where I'll go with this is, okay, like I was saying earlier, Spurs were purchased for 22 million pounds. Okay. Roman Abramovich bought Chelsea for 140 million pounds. The Sheikh bought Man City for 210 million pounds. Billionaires do not make bad investments. And right now, if you were to come in and buy Tottenham Hotspur, you would be buying at the highest valuation that Tottenham Hotspur has ever been. It's so much more likely that somebody would swoop in and buy up, say, Newcastle or even like a Brentford or a championship club and then take money that they already have and pour it in than it would be for them to come in and pay like the highest price tag that Tottenham Hotspur has ever seen and then put more millions into it. So although I can respect the fact that people, you know, long-suffering fans want to see the club succeed and want to see the investment at that level, I just don't see an example in football, in ownership history that you can point to that would say, oh, here's an example where someone came in and spent more than £1 billion and then further injected revenue. To me, it's like, okay, the odds of having like an owner come in after ENIC and be way fucking worse at what they're doing than what ENIC are way higher than someone coming in and just bringing us to that next level.
Well, sure. I mean, look at Cricket Records and his team.
Well, have you seen his latest one? Have you seen his latest comment, which I think is his piece de la resistance of the.
But you know that
night.
Probably 50% of AFTV subscribers are Tottenham fans and other fans that like to watch them.
Yeah.
Crap themselves.
AFTV have more subscribers than all the Spurs fan channels on the planet. That's what's called a big club. I don't even know where to go with this guy. I
no, it's just funny because their subscribers are there because they're me. Like, this is the funniest thing. There's a what is that channel? Is it Daily Gooner or Gooner something? There's a YouTube channel. So this is how great Arsenal fans are. Is that their own supporters make meme channels and meme their own channels.
I'm just looking at his last 3 comments as well. So his last 3 comments have been that Uber is better than Kane. No. The last one before this was his response to that when we proved him about Kane, and he couldn't come back, like I said, with a stat where I said 47 goal or assist in the last 48 games. He didn't come back to that. So he came back to us with they're going to win the Europa League this year and do the quadruple next year. We literally put that to bed. Now his next one is AFTV have more subscribers than all the Tottenham fan channels in the world. Oh no, on the planet. So yeah, I mean, I'm really worried to see what his next one is, because this guy, my God, if this was a heavyweight boxing fight, it would put it this way, the bell would ring for the first round and Cricket would piss himself at the ringing of the bell, because this kid has got absolutely nonsense to say.
Yeah.
If you'd like to make fun of Gooners, go check out Gooners or Gunners. Sorry, not Gooners, but Gunners Daily on YouTube. And it is literally if you watch the beginning of his channel, he would get like 100 views or something like that. Just a real small, tiny channel. And then he started memeing AFTV, and his channel's grown to over 5,000 subscribers. And each of his videos that are basically mocking AFTV get over 1,000 views apiece. So the only way that even Arsenal fans can grow a channel as big as AFTV is to make fun of AFTV. It's pretty funny. We don't need to ban him as long as he's not, cursing people out or doing hate speech. I don't need to ban him.
Yeah. I don't make other than AFTV folks, they just mimics. So I didn't mean to. I want to backtrack a little bit. Like I said, my question earlier was people want Jose in, Jose out, folks, which I understand. Like I said, like everything you guys just said about Enoch, Levy, everything. All that stuff that you guys just said just come down to Jose's fault, because that's what it comes down to. It's Jose's fault. That's
It's
why
not Jose's fault. It's Levy's fault. It's Lewis's fault.
Yeah, but if you look at the people who are like Jose out, Jose in, that is what the main reason is, that because the players are bad. We all know the players are bad, but we are pretending. They are pretending like the players are bad. Is Jose is because they are claiming they are hiding under Poch. That Poch would do a better job than Jose. So Jose should be out. It's Jose's fault. Jose out, Jose in. That's what they're hiding behind. But we all know the reality is the board needs to buy better players to the standard. You have a higher standard of a stadium. The players are like this. You need to at least balance it up a little bit. And some of the mistakes they did, those are the simple players. Look at when you were showing me how much Bruno Fernando what's now, I feel hurt. It's sad. And these are things that they overlook and they don't even care. Care. I mean, Skriniar was asking for 45. You were offering 17, 18, 19. I mean, it's not even close. It's not even meeting like, okay, I'll give you 30 and I'll throw a player in, to balance it off, But my question that I was asking before is, out of all the players that we have right now, who has Jose really improved in, and which one has not been improved? If this was Poch, would it be the same, or would it be different, or would it be better?
Well, he's improved Kane. He's improved Son. He's improved in Ndombele. Højbjerg, you could say, he was very good at Southampton as well, but you could say Højbjerg is playing, the best. I think he's probably improved Lloris as well. The thing
Mora,
is, here's what I'll say about
Mora.
Jose's management style, is that it seems to me that it's very much a trial by fire, in that regardless of who you are, aside from like the very top elite level Kane and Son, everyone else has been forced into a mindset where they need to question themselves, where they need to prove to themselves, where they need to prove to Jose that they can work hard, that they can play for the badge, that they can grow as players. Some players have responded well to that and others have not. And I do think that when people say that Jose is antiquated and that he's a dinosaur, that they might have a point, because I think Jose's methodology would have resonated more 10 to 15 years ago than it does with this generation that are now more focused on their own social media accounts, more focused on likes and subscribes and things like that. So it's not surprising to me that you've seen like this negative backlash with some of our key players who are in their mid to early 20s, like the Harry Winks of the world and the Dele Allis of the world. So, I mean, the jury's out. I certainly hope that in the long run, players who are on the outskirts now work their way back in and show that they have the ability to evolve and become what Jose wants them to be. The way that if I was going to like generalize it, I would say that, you've got Jose Mourinho, who brings with him like a long history of winning and a winning mentality, working against players who have kind of been coddled along and whatnot, and they've had their potch, and it's like, and also the general mentality around Spurs that we always have that soft underbelly. That's a very like uphill battle to be climbing if you're a manager like Jose Mourinho. So you've got like an immovable object and a hard place kind of coming together on the same track, and it's yet to be seen who's going to end up victorious. I certainly hope that we stick with Jose. I would rather crash and burn completely under Jose than sack him at the same point where we gave Poch the flexibility to kind of clean house and bring in his own players. You know, like if we sack Jose after this season because we don't make top 4, that same logic would have ended up with only a year and a half of Poch. So I think we have to afford him at least next season to bring in some of his own players and change that mentality.
Do you know what I would accept next season if someone said to me right now, we're going to sign one world-class central defender, whether it be Skriniar, Milinkovic, the guy from Fulham or whatever, but the other signings we're going to make is we're going to get rid of Steve Hitchin and get Jose Mourinho's scouting network in and the scouts that he knows. So there's one defender and a scouting network. I would be over the moon, because then I would know, okay, Jose's got his scouts in. At least the scouts know what he want. Hopefully we now start buying. Don't know if the money will be there, but at least if Jose finds a youth product or a youngster, they will get the deals done, because literally Steve Hitchin couldn't sell a black cat to a witch. That he can't negotiate anything. That's where we have a huge problem. We need a better scouting network straight away. And I still don't understand this in modern football, that when a manager comes in, I don't understand why they don't get to. They bring their own assistants, they bring their own coaches, they bring their own physios. Why the hell do they not get allowed to pick the scouting network?
They should.
Why?
They absolutely should. I don't. What purpose does that not make? I think the scout should follow, the lead scout. Maybe you can have individual guys that work for him, but the head scout should follow the manager. Exactly.
And that's the bit that I just failed to understand. Now, it may be because Levy, and not just Levy, other chairmen have it that they buy players for the manager and say, here you go, work with these players. But I don't think that model works. I just don't think it works. I think you need a scout that works for Jose, or that has worked with Jose, maybe through Porto, Inter, or any of the clubs that he got on well with, and he's got the players in.
I think it would work if as long as you consulted the manager, to get his opinion. But that's the problem. Sometimes people don't.
Yeah,
they.
I think it's probably like a function of how managers have become much more disposable now than they were before. Whereas, like, in the old days, you would be kind of trying to find that next Sir Alex Ferguson, the manager who would lead you through the next decade and lead you to success. That seems like a rarity, if not, a complete impossibility at this point. When you bring in that team around him as well, you're almost ceding powers to him that you may want to keep yourself if you're a Daniel Levy or any footballing executive. It seems like it's almost like we have like a throwaway culture within football now, where it's like, okay, if you haven't brought us to a more successful level in 2 years, we're going to kind of crumple you up and throw you in the bin. But I disagree with that. I think that there is something to be said for like a continuity where, managers should be hired, and I think they should be given like a 5-year window in which to succeed. Obviously, there are certain cases where it's like, okay, 1 year, it's obvious you're not the one, we're going to toss you out. But yeah, I don't know.
But it is very rare, because I can't think of any, especially here on this side of the world, of any sports that operate that way. In the NFL, it's usually at least 5 years. 10 can be upwards to 20. Basketball is the same way. Baseball is the same way. I mean, it's very rare that a manager only lasts 3 years, whereas right now it seems like 3 years is kind of like the average.
Do you know what as well? I'm going to quote something. I don't know if he's actually watching or he's in the chat, or I know he's not in the chat so far, but you've had the pleasure, Will, to have him on your channel as well when we had the great Brandon V. Dixon, aka Terry Silver from Power, on. And he said the greatest thing I ever heard, which was like, if Levy's not going to back Mourinho with the money that he normally gets, your obligation is to at least honour his contract to see what he could do. So if you're not going to back him financially to the extent of what he's had everywhere, if you give him a 3-year contract, let him work that 3-year contract. And you know what? It's the very first time that I've heard that, and I've actually thought of that. And that might be because of the way that sports are done here in North America. Like I said, I really don't understand the transfer system, the coaching. I really don't understand, because like when I hear that,
it's very rare for a player to spend more time at a club than the manager in America.
That's the thing. I mean, I see
basically the players have no
Cody.
rights. In North American sport, this is the one thing that, like, being newer into football, like, the player actually having a say as to whether or not they're going to get transferred is bizarre in the North American sports culture. The players have no rights in North America.
You get traded, you're traded.
Yeah, and like without getting like off on too much of a tangent, I'll use Major League Baseball as an example. Okay, so let's say, Brian, you are a Major League Baseball player, or you're a prospect, and you get drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays. Okay, so the Toronto Blue Jays as an organization have the right to keep you in the minor league levels, where you are subject to very low wage and, minimum compensation for as long as they want. Only when they decide that you are ready to make the jump into the major leagues are you allowed to do that. Once you make your major league debut, they have control of you as a player for a minimum of 6 years. 6 years. 4 years, 3 to 4 years at minimum wage for a Major League Baseball player. And then you go into what is called arbitration. So basically, it's you go into court with the club, and you are arguing over how much you should make. So the club is slandering you, saying that you're shit, and you're saying, I am worth this much. Only after that do you become a free agent, in which you are free to sign with whichever club you want. Also, within that time frame, if your parent club decides that they want to trade you or transfer you, you have no say in the matter. You have no say. You cannot block a trade whatsoever. If they say, we're going to take you and we're going to put you in the worst club in Major League Baseball, you have no rights whatsoever. So on average, you get drafted at 19 or 20 years old as a baseball player. You spend 3 or 4 years in the minors. You get brought up to the majors, even if you're an amazing player. By the time you hit free agency, you are 30. And not only that, there is a culture now within Major League Baseball where veterans are not being offered multi-year contracts by clubs because they know that they can just game the system and bring in the next farm candidate and just start the cycle all over again. So
Jesus Christ,
the transfer system in football is like it's the most rights that I have ever seen in professional sports, where it's like, oh, this club and this club have agreed that you will go from one to the other, and you can say no. It's unbelievable.
Baseball is easily the worst out of all the American sports, right? That's easily.
Well, NFL is pretty bad too, because if
I was about to say, is it the same with all of them? Like basketball,
No,
is that model?
The transfer works the same.
Basketball is one of the best
traded
in North American sport. Football is not much better than baseball in that.
Okay.
Football, you could sign a contract. Let's say you're a offensive tackle and you sign a 4-year, $64 million deal. There is usually a clause in there that says that for whatever reason, the club can just cancel your contract, terminate it. So your first year, you're a star offensive tackle, and you go out and you suffer a torn ACL. Your club can just say, "Fuck you, we're not paying you anymore," and you're gone.
Jesus
Basketball is a little bit different because they absolutely have put stricter limits on the amount of control that the club has over them. I think the maximum term of a contract is 5 years with an NBA franchise. They are like miles ahead of most North American sports, but still miles behind how I see football transfers.
What about hockey? Hockey, similar
There
kind
you
of.
can put in no trade clauses in your contract. It really just depends
Okay.
on how valuable you are as a player, right? So, for instance, if you're a younger guy who doesn't have a name yet, you really don't have as much bartering power as, say, a superstar does. Whereas, like in the EPL, for example, you could block a if your contract's set up, you can block a transfer if you're the player. If you don't want to leave, they can't make you leave. Whereas in American sports, it's they can literally walk downstairs on Monday and say, guess what? You're moving to Los Angeles. And if you don't go, you don't get paid. So
Jesus.
yeah, it's in a lot of political debates, it's even kind of, it's not super analogous, but it is like the modern day of American slavery, because they have zero rights. They're like
Wow.
cows, and they're sold off to LA, and they have to perform or they don't get paid, because if they don't go, then they're in breach of their contract and they get nothing.
Wow. What a difference.
Yeah,
What a difference. Yeah.
It's wacky, and they don't even nearly make as much as most footballers either. That's the funny part.
Yeah.
So actually,
Yeah.
bring it back to football. I take it, is the MLS the same, or does the MLS have the same as like football back home? Or is the MLS still the same structure as other North American sports?
So they do have salary caps in MLS. I would say that foreign players probably operate on a more European type, format. But I would say that probably homegrown players.
So like your Pulisic's and everything that came through.
Well,
they have
Pulisic
been on-
never actually played in MLS. He came through a developmental academy, which is
Okay.
kind of a youth academy for MLS. But like say like Alphonso Davies or
There you
whatever,
go.
or Weston McKennie or something like that. And we don't have solidarity payments here in America. So, for instance, if your youth club sells you to a European club, they don't get any money. Yeah, so it's kind of, so if you sign before, if say like Weston McKennie, when he left FC Dallas at the age of 18 to go to Germany, FC Dallas got $0 because they don't have solidarity payments.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, U.S. Soccer blocks those, which they're talking about revamping that so that but what the problem is a lot of American clubs, they have no interest because it's a pay to play system. It costs me almost $8,000 a year for my son to play soccer or football at a competitive level, and we're talking the top 2 tiers of youth soccer here in America.
Okay.
And it cost me almost $8,000 a year just for fees and travel and all that stuff. And it's not until you get into the MLS academies where the cost is paid for.
Gotcha.
Whereas we're in the UK, if you're playing for an academy, whether it be a Premier League side or a league, non-league side, it's usually covered the expense that you might have to pay for your kit, but there's no fee for the kid to actually play if he's good enough to be on that team. Whereas here,
exactly,
it's all for the money. And so therefore there's no real incentive for them to really care about the quality of the individual player because there's no benefit for them. Whereas like if you're a young kid at Tottenham or whatever, and maybe they don't want to bring you into the first team, but they can sell you off to a championship side for $500,000 or 500,000 pounds or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They still can recoup the expense that they've had in order to pay their coaches and do whatever. Well, here in America, they don't do that. So it really,
that's craziness. I mean, obviously, it's obviously the exact opposite for me than it is for you when you're looking at football. You're the outside looking in, whereas when it comes to me looking at North American sport, I'm on the outside looking in, and it's it's amazing to think that these huge sporting organizations just run in completely different ways. It's crazy.
So you think about
And
it. You think about the club.
That is why I have my opinion on Enoch and you have yours, Brian, because I have been exposed to this the same way you've been exposed to Enoch for 20 years. I, as a 37-year-old, have been exposed to North American sports ownership my whole life. And I can tell you, there are way, way, way worse sports owners than Enoch. And the thing is, the systems in which they are allowed to operate in North America are a lot more conducive to being shitty owners than they are in the Premier League. That's for sure. But
Yeah, like there's no promotion relegation system here in the U.S.,
No.
which is horrible. I really think that needs to happen.
The biggest beef I have with North American sports right now is that there is not like a punishment for non-competing. Whereas in the Premier League, if you go down, you're cutting your revenues. It's hitting you in the wallet. And if we brought it into, say, Major League Baseball is like one of the worst big sports for non-competition. Back in 2013, the Houston Astros introduced this system of like basically punting the season. The baseball season is 162 games, so basically like four and a half times the size of what the Premier League. They lost like 110 plus games for 4 straight years, and most of the leagues in North America sort of reward losing seasons in that the lower down that you finish, the higher up your draft pick is in the following seasons. Yep. You, as a losing squad, have better access to the upcoming young stars. There's no, like, if we introduced, I would love to see relegation introduced across North American sport, because that would solve like one of the biggest problems that we deal with.
Especially a lot of small market, low side teams, they just prefer to sell their draft picks off to better clubs anyway. So, because you can literally sell your draft pick.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've really, really got into NFL. I absolutely love NFL. I'm a huge Saints fan. And literally, I watched on my wife's birthday. We watched that movie with Kevin Costner, Draft Day, which is a wicked movie. Wicked movie. And I fully understood what was going on with the draft system, where it's like, we'll take this player and we'll give you our first 2 round picks for the next year or whatever. It's craziness.
Yeah, it's a goofy system, and for as far as youth soccer is concerned here, or football, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, just the fees alone at my son's club are $3,500. Just the fees. Then you have to pay $300 or $400 for the kit, and then you have all the travel. You have to drive 2, 3, 4 hours to a match. And you have to, sometimes 10 hours to a tournament if they make a showcase or something like that, if the team does well. And then you have, and then what the worst part about it is that there's no real scouting system. And what kids make the team? It's the dad who donates $10,000 to the club. And, he's making the top team over the kid whose dad, is getting a scholarship to be able to play, right? So they do have some scholarships for low-income families. But the worst thing about it is, like, take my son's club, for example. You're talking between, if you low end for travel soccer, you're talking about $1,200 to the top end. The best teams, for whatever reason, have to pay more money. If you're on the good team, you have to pay $3,200. So let's say the average is about $2,200. There's 8,000 kids in the travel program, both boys and girls. That is $16 million that the club brings in. The clubs bring in. You know what they do with that money? They vinyl wrap the bathroom doors and
That's ridiculous.
$16 million a year for a youth soccer club that has no professional team.
That is ridiculous.
And they're a nonprofit. They pay 0 tax. $16 million a year. Yeah.
That's madness. That is madness. God, we went right off Tottenham Newcastle.
But I mean, it's part of football. You know, it's all tied together, especially from the American's perspective.
100%. 100%.
And we got another gooner in the chat.
Oh God, who we got in now? I'm just looking through the chat now.
We are gooners, but I think it's the same guy. I think he's changed his name.
I think he's changed his name.
Because the typing pattern is the same. See, yeah, you guys have to understand that I'm a very smart person with a very good memory. So he's got multiple accounts.
Listen, DT may be better than me. DT has been doing this for years. DT has made a career of it. DT, I must admit, I actually love his passion. Sometimes he goes off, but DT, what the? I mean, Jesus. I mean, honestly, where do these comparisons come from? Where do they come from? I just
I mean, it's all. I think it's for me. I think it's funny, but you know,
no. To me, it is funny. But what really worries me is about this guy and what he's doing with his life. If that's the best quib he can come up with, DT is better than Brian. Well done, my friend. Well done in your own little world. Really? Okay. Yes. Very good, Mikel. Yes, Mikel Arteta.
If you're a gooner, go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit that bell.
Yeah. Help us to become bigger than Arsenal Fan TV, the biggest channel on the planet. What a fucking moron!
Oh, it's just pretty funny. And how long has Brian been doing? He's been doing it for like 15 years. Like since YouTube started, he's been a YouTuber. So
it's like literally, I started coming onto We Are Tottenham TV at the beginning of this season. I started Tottenham Away with the other three in October as a podcast, but literally we've been on YouTube 4 weeks.
Just
so
my
I'm not
second
even.
week.
Yeah, I'm not even on. Honestly, and I'd love to know what country that guy is in.
Battle of the headphones. But the problem is that when Ty's on his streams, like if you look at him outside of AFTV, which he doesn't appear too often off of that channel, but he'll wear headphones and then wear the headphones around his neck. So it's literally, they're not plugged into anything. They're literally just what I did come on a channel one time as Ty. I had my beanie on and I had my headphones around my neck like this and my water bottle.
Also, I don't have the Tottenham thing there. I don't have my Tottenham water bottle. I'm not wearing my Tottenham tracksuit.
Mine aren't made in. Well, they may be made in China, but they're actually like professional audio headphones. They're not like $35 cheap headphones from Arsenal fan shop.
Exactly. You got to love their banter being absolutely shit like their football club.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. It is pretty sad. I feel bad for him more than I get upset about it, to be honest with you. It makes me I feel bad for him.
Well, I'll tell you, the cricket gooner or whatever his name is, and this other one, he's probably going to bed in his Arsenal pajamas, in his Arsenal duvet, got his Arsenal hot water bottle and teddy to tuck him in at night and keep him safe from the boogeyman, and probably got his Arsenal nightlight. Then he's got his Arsenal baby bottle and his pacifier. So just let him crack on with that and with the great banter.
All right. Well, we've only got about 40 minutes left in the stream. And so I want to kind of flip back to the thing. What are your guys' starting 11s? Who would you like to see play? And we'll start with Awesome All. You've been kind of quiet for lately, so I'll give you a chance to have a say.
Okay.
Who do you want to see as your starting 11?
After my starting 11, I'm gonna check out for tonight. And
sure.
My on the right wing, I would say Bale should play because when we have stronger team, we're gonna be in possession. We're gonna have a lot of possession. So when we have possession, Bale should play. When we don't have no possession, I would say Lamela should play. So and earlier part of what we were talking about was anyway, Lamela always coming for Bale after 60 minutes. Anyway, because that's how he does it anyway. He plays 60, then Lamela comes in for 30 because you know he's gonna get a yellow card, of course, maybe a red if he plays the full team. So right back is because we're gonna have a lot of possession. Is a position when it comes to possession game, Aurier is better on the right back. But when you have possession game, nobody's defending. So pretty much Aurier and Bale are all front. So whoever, because if you remember in the beginning of the season, for some reason Oiberg used to drop in the middle between Dyer and Toby, and Toby drops to the right. So I'll prefer the same settings, but whoever Jose chose tomorrow might determine the player he trusts. If you don't see Ali anymore for the rest of the season, definitely you know Ali is not gonna ever be anything good or supportive. If you don't see Winks anymore, no, because these are the games that this game tomorrow is like you are playing Europa game because of the way our opponent is. And if you don't see all this second tier player there playing to give Kane a rest or Son a rest, definitely you know he doesn't trust them. He just feel like once they want to come to the game to sabotage the game. You know where we at right now, standing. The reality check of it is players are coming to the field to sabotage the game to kick the coach out. That's just the reality check. But Levy and I'm hoping Levy already know what the players are trying to do. But the main point is, even the Chelsea supporters have said it and pronounced the same. If you give Jose the players he wants, you're gonna win Champions League. You're gonna win Premier League. You're gonna win everything. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if Levy take a risk and give Jose the players he wants, he's gonna win Champions League and Premier League next year, and he's gonna leave himself. He will voluntarily leave himself because he's like, I've achieved what I've come here to do, and this has gone to my resume. I don't need to stay here, and you guys are gonna mess it up for me again, and we just exit himself. So the same setting of players who play regular and all this regular, but the main place that we all sit here and talk about is on the right flanks, and on the right flanks, you know. We already know who's going to be in the middle. We already know every settings. The only thing there is the right hand side. So, and that's where every player, even the people in the Europea, they know that our right side is the worst side. That's the worst place. That's how you can win us. Come through the right. If you come through the right, you'll win us. That's it. There's no other place that they can't come through the left. They know that. And they know they can't come through this middle. The only place they can come through is the right, and that's it. Anywhere that is playing, anybody that we play, even I'm sure Guardiola is already telling his people on Manchester City, hey, go through the right. Don't worry what they do. Still, just keep punching them from our right. I mean, it will be their left, but it will be from our right. So, and that's it. It's going to be the same set of players, but the way Jose and we all know where everything stands right now is that whoever Jose picks tomorrow will determine, and the substitute will determine who we trust. So, but the right is the main problem. And the right tomorrow is Aurier and Bale. And if otherwise, it will be Tanganga and Lamela. That's pretty much where we stand.
But no, that's good. And Brian.
Oh,
sorry, I thought you were done.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. Are you going to jump off, or are you going to
for the Europe? You're just saying I'm preparing. I want to prepare myself for the next game, so I'm trying to play very well as much as possible to get to the next game, to the next Europe. There's a Europe coming up, Europe 2020, right? So that's it.
Are you going to head off? Or are you going to stick around for a while, or what?
Yes. Come on, you guys. Come on, you boys.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much for coming on, my friend. You're always a great guest.
Thank you. Ryan, Will, see you guys.
Yep. Have a great night. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
All right. Bye.
All right. Good night. So, Brian, what do you think? We've got a comment here from Tottenham fan. Do you think that the fact that a lot of people today in a lot of these fan shows have been asking the question, who do we start tomorrow at right winger? Does that really shed light on something that I've been calling out for? Like, well, everybody's talking about we need a center back, we need this, we need that. That we are really hurting as far as the right wing position is concerned?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're crying out for a right winger. But if you said to me right now, okay, Brian, you're the manager of Tottenham Hotspur, you can have a right winger or a centre back, I'm taking a centre back every single time, without a question of a doubt. That is the most important thing that we need, if not two. Right winger.
If you could only have one, I'd agree with you. Yeah,
it is definitely where we need to go. We knew. Listen, Jose said at United he needed a centre back. He didn't get it. He even wanted Alderweireld. United didn't even go for him when his release clause was 25. Wherever Jose goes, the most important thing he has is a big, dominating, like a John Terry, a Carvalho, a Varane. At Inter Milan, he had Walter Samuel. He had to me, that is. Do you know what? Alana's just come up. I am obsessed with Dane Scarlett. I'm obsessed with him, and I've said it before.
Can he play on the right?
He is so young; he can play anywhere, and he will fight. He will fight and have spirit of the shirt. I've said it before. I've gone on record many times saying he is the next Michael Owen, only better. But talking of comments, I have to just go back to one that was made at 23:09 by we Gooners. This is how stupid Gooners are. This is how stupid. I'm just going to tuck him into bed and say goodnight, mate. Go have your hot chocolate and cocoa because it's time to put your pacifier in and go to bed. It's Newcastle 4, arrogant Tottenham 1. It will happen again. It will happen again. I think he's referring to the game where we lost 5-1 and we came third in a 2-horse race. If you are going to try and have banter with educated people, at least get your banter right. You dumb, deluded, stupid gooner. So, back to the really good questions from Spurs fans coming in. The centre-back is a must. One, if not two. Right winger is an issue. Dane Scarlett is an option. You've also got, you see, Lo Celso, I think, can do a job there. I think he can, but he hasn't played there regularly. He's got that much quality. I think he can play in that role.
So let me tighten this question down. Let me focus a little bit more. A lot of people have been talking, besides center back, they're talking about like Sabitzer or a center midfielder. Do we not have more depth at center midfield than we do necessarily on the right wing right now?
Do you know what? I've always noticed this with Tottenham. At one time, we had so many centre backs. Like I'm talking years ago, not recently. We always seem to have an overload in one position, and I don't understand it now. The thing is, I would love Sabitzer at the club. No doubt in my mind, that guy would improve our team dramatically with the quality he brings. But we've got to remember of this European rule that we've got. We need to get European players out. Whether it be Sissoko, whether it be people like Dyer aren't counted as homegrown players because of his time in Portugal.
Right, because that's the club he came out of. That's who
exactly, because he basically, the whole story with Dyer and how he moved to Portugal is his mum and dad got a job for Euro 2000 and Euro 2000? Yeah, it was Euro 2000 in Portugal. And they moved out there and they loved it. And that's when he got signed by Sporting Lisbon or whatever Portugal. I think it was Sporting Lisbon. I can't remember. I think it was. But that's how, and now because he was there, he's considered a Portuguese product. So it's not homegrown. To get Sabitzer in, we need to get European players out the door. But I honestly, Sabitzer is a very, very important signing, but I just can't see how we're going to get it over the line without getting some European players out.
But you guys just have me so down about this whole Levy thing and not spending money, and because I really think, for me, I think it takes three. I really do. I really think it takes three. Maybe 4. 4 if you really want to be fat and happy. And that's center back, right wing. I think our whole right side really needs an overhaul, especially if you're not going to bring Bale back next season.
Well, it all depends if we keep Vinicius as well. We may need a centre forward.
Yeah, we're in such bad shape, to be honest.
What
with
is
you. Victor H.
what is Bale though? Honestly, aside from like 2 or 3 good
Well,
games,
10
sides-
goal contributions this season.
Yes, but
Third most in the entire
use
club.
your eyes though. What is Bale in the big moments for us so far? He's nothing. He's nothing but a fucking.
5
He's
goals.
nothing but. Yes, statistically,
assists in the
he's banged in
Premier
a
League.
couple goals against lower sides, RZ pellets, whatever. But really, are we getting our money's worth? Are we getting our money's worth with Bale? Because we're paying him.
We're paying more wages than
paying him
Kane
more-
and Son,
Exactly. So
but we're not getting Kane and Son numbers. That's true.
no, right? So,
But we have an entire team, right? And another. You take Kane and Son out, okay? So that leaves 9. Remove Hugo, obviously. We have another 8 players that have contributed less combined starters, not to mention the bench guys. The rest of the team combined don't have as many goal contributions as Gareth Bale this season.
yes, but
That's
how
just
many
a fact.
how many times has he completed 90 minutes?
Once or twice, I think.
Is it that many?
I think it's at least once.
I don't think he's
a
played
full
90 minutes once. I don't think
he
he's
has.
played 90 minutes once.
Yeah, he's played full 90 a couple times.
I don't mind Gareth Bale if we're paying him 65, 70,000 pounds a week. I don't mind.
Good
him
luck.
there,
Good luck.
but good luck. Exactly. And he doesn't really I don't really see him as having been a Mourinho signing. If you could take that money back and give it to Jose to spend on Skriniar, I would do it.
And who's
I
going to
would
play
do
right
it.
wing?
Which I don't remember if you remember, Cody. That's exactly what I said on my Levy rant on We Are Tottenham TV. When I said if he was coming back from a year, and it's all broken out now that the contract was always a year, there was no second option. He has to go back contractually to Real Madrid, regardless if we have a second year or not. If he had said, "Listen, I want to try and get match fit for the," why not use that 220 or whatever it is we're paying a week?
That's
and there's
3
10 million
players.
to Sabitzer. There's your
Davinson
10 million extra.
Sanchez. And I know that we all have our criticisms of Davinson Sanchez. Davinson Sanchez is on 65,000 pounds a week. Okay? So that's 3 players that we are spending on Gareth Bale. And
The
Davinson
wages,
Sanchez,
right? But
The
you have to
wa-
also understand the
yeah.
transfer fee, right? So who are you going to bring in who can get 10 goal contributions a season for 14 million pounds?
but 10 goal contributions under what scenario? It's
That's
not
2
just
wins.
black and
That's
white.
6 points.
It's- No. Gareth Bale hasn't won a shit this year. He hasn't won a shit because we're out of Europa, which is where he made the biggest impact. And the other games where he made his impact in the Premier League are games where we were winning 4-0 or 3-0 or whatever. So, no, to me, Gareth Bale, you want to bring
I
him
have to
back
say-
next year? You want to bring him back next year on a reasonable contract that is 5 figures per week? I'll go for that. But we can't waste money on him when we have so many more priorities.
You realize
addressed.
that he has almost exceeded Eric Lamella's goal contributions for the last 4 years
I'm not
in one season.
defending Eric
With
Lamella.
only 12 appearances in the Premier
Yes,
League.
I'm not defending Eric Lamella. I'm saying that Gareth Bale has been a bust.
And
I
Lucas
don't think-
Moura is not much better.
The numbers don't deny that. The thing is, you can say whatever you want about how many goal contributions he has. But when
In
you
the
go
end,
back
what
to the
wins
last
games?
North London derby, when you go back to the North London derby,
Okay.
I don't think that swapping Doherty for Aurier makes a difference in that game because
Oh, it makes a
Bale
huge
wasn't tracking back. And that is the style of game that we have been set up to play, right?
I have to say, in this argument, when it comes to Bale, I am totally in agreement with Cody.
Okay, so let me ask you.
Totally.
How
And
many
the The reason I say it, Will,
We can't
is
pay more to Bale than we
don't
pay
get me
to
wrong.
Kane and get what we get back.
Don't get me wrong. The signing of Gareth Bale, there's not a single Tottenham Hotspur fan in the world that's heart didn't skip a beat and
Loved
think,
it.
"Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, here we go, here we go." You just can't help it. When that man gets the ball, or when that man is on form, everyone goes back 7 years. Everyone goes back 7 years. This guy is an icon, a legend. He's one person that I still am so pissed off that I never saw live at Spurs. Never saw him live, which it really annoys me. But when he came back, if he had performed like this for an extra 2-3 months of the season, then we might have been having a different discussion. And like Cody says, the games that he played brilliant in, the Burnley, the Crystal Palace game, they were games we were playing superb football, and that's the kind of games Gareth Bale should be playing like that anyway. Against Arsenal, apart from Harry Kane, no one on that pitch knows more about that game and what it means than Gareth Bale. Even if he wasn't told to run back or whatever, if that was me, I would have been running up and down, up and down, up. Spurs Arsenal, it would have been, right, this is it, here we go. And don't get me wrong, he is a Tottenham icon. I love him to pieces.
So
but have we had value for money?
You guys watch
No, we haven't.
my Lamella needs to go stream. Neither of you were on it.
That's
did you go back and
basically
watch it?
that's you every show, isn't it?
No, it's not. But here, this is a point that I made in that stream, and I want you guys to take a look at it. Right. So, before I show you the results, who do you think's been better defensively, Eric Lamella or Gareth Bale?
Gareth Bale.
Cody?
I'll say Gareth Bale.
Okay, so then what? But everybody said that Eric Lamella's had a really great season, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you look at goals conceded. We've conceded less with Gareth Bale than Lamella.
How much
when
are
he's
we
been
paying
inside.
Eric Lamella compared to Gareth Bale? Like, this isn't like
Well,
a
we
black-
pay almost Eric Lamella almost £100,000 a week.
Yeah, but that's
Not a huge
still only a
difference.
third of what we're paying Gareth Bale. And
No, we're only paying Gareth Bale £220 million a week.
220 million pounds a week.
That's
Yeah.
still
I think
like
you've got
almost-
no. Not 220 million pounds a week.
Or
Well, 'cause if
220,000.
I was about to say, yeah, exactly. I was about to say, look who our chairman is. I don't think we're doing that, my friend.
220,000 pounds a week. And Eric Lamella is making them close to 100,000 a week.
You can't seriously be saying that the Gareth Bale loan has been a success at this.
I'm not saying it's success, but what I'm saying is that
It's easy to compare Gareth Bale to a piece of shit and say that Gareth Bale is better.
Everybody
than
loves
that
Eric
piece of
Lamella.
shit.
I'm the only one that
I
thinks
don't
that
love
Eric Lamella is a piece of
Lamella.
shit. Okay, so appearances wise, Gareth Bale has 5 less appearances than Lamella for people to see, right?
Yep.
But just on the defensive wise, he's conceded 5 less goals, more than that, 5 less goals while he's been inside. Interceptions, only 1 less for Gareth Bale. Even tackles, only 5 less. Successful tackles, only 3 less. Right? Clearances, 9-1. Headed clearances, 7-0. Aerial battles won 14-6. So for people to say that Gareth Bale doesn't track back or he doesn't help defensively,
Yeah,
I just don't think people are watching it right.
Yeah, but that doesn't, just because it says aerial battles won, that doesn't mean
they're in the box.
defensive.
Yeah, right.
That could have been a corner for us.
Sure.
That could have been in the attacking area.
But a headed clearance is
Perfect
defensive.
example of why John Cooper was saying that statistics are useless.
No. Aerial
There's
battles
always
one is
a way
correct.
to spin statistics in your
Aerial battles one is correct, but a headed clearance and a clearance and then a
headed
defensive
clearance,
third.
Seriously,
you're
Will,
right.
are you going to sit here and look me in the eye and tell me that Gareth Bale is a better defender than Eric Lamella?
Yes. It's right there. Look. Right there.
Well, then I don't know what to say to you.
Look right there.
Look,
It says it. Clearances. Eric Lamella's one.
This is Gareth Bale running. He's running. Look at him.
Do you want me to pull up the heat map on Soka?
Total shit.
Oh, there's my boy.
Dane Scarlett.
I love this kid.
I was looking up to see if he had a price on him yet, but he doesn't have a price on his head yet.
You made it sound like we put a hit out on him.
Okay, so there's Gareth Bale's heat map, right?
Looks pretty bad.
I mean, for 12 appearances, that's not a bad heat map.
What does Lamelo's look like? Eric Ten Hag.
Far worse defensively than Gareth Bale's. There's the proof.
Well,
That's
they
the
both
proof,
look.
Cody.
No, but what you've got to remember.
You want me to bring
They
them up
both-
side by side? You want me to pull them up side by side? You want me to open up
Oh, they
another
both
window
look
here?
bad. They both look. Compare both of them to Harry Kane, and we can really see how bad both of them are. You're arguing
Well, Harry
about
Kane has a good one.
who is
Harry
shittier.
Kane, you probably can't see the pitch.
Yeah, Harry Kane's is going to be huge. But
Harry Kane,
I'll
you
pull
can't
these
see the
up side
pitch.
by side here, so we can actually so you can get a eyeball to eyeball comparison.
No, you can't tell me that Gareth Bale is a good defender.
I can't. I'm telling you, he's been better than anybody else we've had on that right wing this season. That's a fact.
Defensively. He's not.
Defensively.
He's not better defensively than Steven Bergwijn.
I was just about to
He's
say the
not.
same thing, Cody.
We'll have to pull it up. Well, I mean, Steven Bergwijn hasn't played. See, it's far more heat in the defensive third than Eric Lamela. Far more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's with five. That's with 5 less appearances. So if you're doing it on 35 games, you have to take 35 times 5, and that's the amount of more minutes that Eric Lamela spent on the pitch over Gareth Bale.
You tell me
Tell-
Tell me one good defensive play that Gareth Bale's made.
You got to really watch the games and do like a game study. Of
I know. That's
the
why I'm
game.
asking the question.
a lot. I've seen Gareth Bale on the edge of the box around this area right here, head balls out, right? Boom, on corner kicks, defending a corner kick, heading the ball out. I mean, look at Eric Lamela's. He has to defend on corner kicks too.
That heat map doesn't corroborate your story at this point because there's barely
Sure, these are all
anything.
corner kicks. I mean, what
Oh.
else? What else reason does Gareth Bale have to be over here as a right wing? Right. I mean, those are all corner kick. Coming into the box to defend corner kicks. Right. All
you
of these
think-
balls
do you
here are
think-
dropping in.
Do you think Lamela would have done a better job tracking back in the North London derby than Gareth Bale?
No, I think his stuff is really deceiving. I think the way he runs and the way he moves really deceives people on screen.
It's a
I
yes
really
or no
do.
question. So you're saying no?
No, I don't.
Look,
No.
when it comes down to the North London derby as well, I'm sorry, but that game is just it doesn't
We
matter
could
who
pull up a
plays.
heat map from the game. I
Jose
think I could pull up that specific
Jose
game.
just got it completely wrong, and we should have gone all out attack, as I said at the start of the show, just like Liverpool did, just like West Ham did, and then Gareth Bale would have had a much more profitable game.
Right.
And
Right.
Cody and I may have been talking different.
You can say that Jose got it wrong in the North London derby, but if all you're saying is that he should have started Aurier instead of Doherty, I don't see Serge Aurier.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying even if you played that starting lineup that we played, starting against Arsenal, but we'd gone ultra attacking as opposed to the nonsense that we're playing begin with, it would have been a different game.
But I don't
I'm not
think that he was instructing them to go out and have a jog because that's what. When you watch that game back, that's all it looked like we were doing is just out there having a little jog. And I don't think that's what the instruction was, right? And I also
But then
don't
that's the
think,
thing, Cody. If
I
that
also
wasn't
don't
the
think
instruction, you would say, "Why the fuck aren't you doing what I'm saying?" And I'm going to make the relevant changes that I need to.
well, that's what happened the very next week. Look at the Villa
But
game.
let's bring us back
Look who
into
was shipped out.
to the facts of the matter. And this is what I'm saying. The eye test can also be deceiving. And that's why you got to use both the eyeballs and the statistics, right? Because here's Eric Lamela's heat map in the stats for just the Arsenal match, right?
Okay.
He obviously came in for Son, right? They were attacking this way most of the time.
Excuse me.
He played 57 minutes. He had a goal, 33 touches, 3 dribble attempts. And this is the thing. He has a lot of ground duels attempts, but he rarely wins them. Right? He'll go in and knock people's ankles out and do stuff like that, but he rarely wins them. He lost possession 7 times, aerial duels won 3, fouls 3, was fouled twice. So I'm going to bring up Gareth Bale for this period for the same game. Why can't I pull that over? Anyway. So that's the right wing. Right? Played for 57 minutes. Crosses 2, 4 long balls, 22 touches. Dribble attempts 1, ground duels 1, 3-1. Possession lost 8 times. Tackles 1. So if we can bring up Eric Lamela up again here. Yeah, that game Eric Lamela worked harder. For sure.
That kind
Did
of backfired
anybody,
on you.
did anybody record that?
Exactly.
Anybody record?
Well, do you know what it is, Cody? I almost said something stupid yesterday, didn't I? And I stopped myself, and now Will's done it.
Yeah.
There seems to be a trend.
I think Will is a closet Lamella lover.
No, I just don't argue with statistics. If I'm proven wrong by the statistics, I go with the statistics every time, right? But what I'm saying is overall, Gareth Bale has performed better defensively this season than Eric Lamela.
Yeah, but the question was as well, do we think Bale's been a success?
And I mean, their score rating for the game was the same.
The way he's been a success is he has sold fuckloads of shirts.
Gareth Bale has been paid like 3 or 4 times as much as Eric Lamela. So if that's the ratings, like how are we rating players' value towards what the club goals are, right? Because if I can,
well, my guess is the reason why they have the same statistical rating.
If I can take the money that I'm paying Gareth Bale and invest it elsewhere in places that will have more impact, I mean, who wouldn't do that?
But where are you going to get? We're talking 12 appearances in the Premier League and 10 goal contributions.
No, you're talking. No, he doesn't have 10 goal contributions in the Premier League.
Let me go back here.
Do you know what I would do with the money, actually? If Newcastle get relegation, I'll go get some maximum.
So
You think so?
Last time,
7 contributions.
last time we took a punt on an ex-Newcastle winger. It happened to be David Ginola for £2 million, and that worked out rather well. And everyone was saying he was a bit of a maverick.
Let me ask you this, Will. What is the most important goal contribution that Gareth Bale has had this year?
I've got deja vu.
Yep.
What's the most important one?
Yep. What's the most important?
2 assists are the most important ones.
No, like be specific. Like what game, what scenario?
I don't know. I'm drawing a blank on
I can actually answer.
There
that
was
question.
one game where he had the only winning
will
goal.
tell
We
you.
won 1-0. I can't remember the name of the game, but he was the one that scored. Man of the match.
It's his first goal in the Premier League
against
back,
Brighton.
because
Exactly
it was a
what I was
game winning goal, right? But the fact that you struggled to answer that, and I'm not like, as far as like comparing Gareth Bale to Eric Lamela, I mean, you're comparing apples and oranges, so it's.
But you
it's
realize that Eric Lamela is the only option we have other than Gareth Bale at right wing.
Stephen Bergwijn would like something to say. Yeah.
Giovanni Lo Celso.
Yeah.
Giovanni Lo Celso is not quite a right winger, but I mean, Bergwijn hasn't been the best either.
But Bergwijn isn't a right back. Yeah, we find a way to play him there. And the thing is, someone of Lo Celso's quality should be. You know what? It's Harry Redknapp once said something. It's like when he said, someone said to Harry Redknapp, "How are you going to keep all your players happy when the team was coming through, like the Modric, the Van der Vaart, he goes, listen, mate, it's not my job to make the players happy. It's their job to make me happy. That's how they play for this team. I'm not here to make that. If they want to get in the squad, make me happy. Show me what you can do. And in a World Cup year coming up next year, you got to remember, Giovanni Lo Celso was incredible last season. If it hadn't been for him when we had Son and Kane out, God knows how bad we would have had a season. He was brilliant. Yes, he didn't get the assist or the goals, and they haven't really come. But he is very hard to get off the ball. He's got a lot of skill. And you saw just in the glimpse when he came on against Man City when we beat him 2-0 and he scored within 30 seconds. You saw the bit of pace where he just ran through a load. He's got potential. He's just never had a consistent run in the team because he keeps picking up bloody injuries.
Yeah, I mean, believe it or not, Steven Bergwijn's appeared more times this season than Gareth Bale has.
And you got to remember as well, people go on about Bergwijn, and yes, he hasn't had a great season. He has not had a great season at all. But after he had the bad game where he hit the post in the 3-1 or 2-1 loss at Anfield, he didn't play in the the Leicester game 2-0 when we lost to him just before Christmas, and he didn't play in the next game. And if you look at those two games that he didn't play, Son and Kane were nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. Bergwijn came in the next game. We won, and they both scored, or one of them scored. I can't remember who. Bergwijn does bring a lot to the team. He's not getting the. Yes, he hasn't been what we expected of him. Yes, it hasn't been brilliant football, but he has become a part of the squad who's settling in. He's been playing at right back and right wing back, and he was signed when we were looking for a striker, but we didn't get him. We got a right winger. I think there is a talent there. His confidence is so shot to bit, but I reckon he's going to be a great player, and I will stand by that.
Yeah, I've got faith in him for the future for sure, but I just don't know how relevant or how good he is on the right as a right-footed player.
So where would you play him?
I mean, he's got to be a backup for Son, right? If we're going to play inverted wingers, right? That's the system that we're running now. We have wingers that cut to the inside, and you have fullbacks that overlap. So, my point is we don't have a left-footed right winger if Bale goes back to Madrid. I'm not saying to keep him. That's not what I'm saying.
No, I know that. I'm
saying when Bale goes, who takes his stead? Eric Lamela with 8 goals and 7 assists in 100 appearances?
Well, again, it comes back to the board, the manager, and what we do this summer.
Yeah, but everybody's talking about center back, center mid, right back, and those are all valid points, and I agree with that. But nobody's talking about a right winger. They're just automatically assuming that Gareth Bale's going to be here next season, and I just don't. I don't see it. And what if Son goes in the summer?
If Son goes,
I mean, we're in deep crap. Do you guys? If you want to really get depressed, listen to Victor HM. Have him come on the show. Go back and watch my Eric Lamela needs to go, and he depressed me. He had me, lacing up Eric Lamela's boots by the end of that show. I was so depressed. I mean, seriously, we're in bad shape.
I just don't want to think about Son leaving. I really, really don't want to think about Son leaving.
Right, but people are always saying we were going to get all, dude, we got to buy like 10 people, and we don't have any money.
The thing is, I really don't want to think about Son leaving, but the thing that's really worrying me about is in October, we got told that his contract is pretty much signed, sealed, delivered. And here we are the first week of April. There is no
and Ali Gold can speculate all he wants, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's bigger pressure for him to leave than people realize. I know that for a fact. Having lived there, knowing the culture, knowing what his dad's saying to him in his ear every single day. And people don't put that way. Oh, it's just his dad. What difference does it make? No, not in their culture.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Your dad, it might as well be your priest or your rabbi or your bishop or your pastor or your whatever. I mean, like your professor or your life coach. fathers are, he tells him what furniture he can have in his house, right? If you watch the documentary. So, I mean, he's telling him when he can't get married.
Yeah, they were saying after his career, wasn't it? It's plenty of time for that after your career.
Not allowed to date or get married until after his career.
The worrying things about these comments about him leaving is the fact that it's Germany. That's what's scaring me.
Italy, you don't have to worry about because Koreans don't like the Italians because they tend to think that the Italians are racist towards them.
It's not just that. I mean, it's obviously his link with Germany. If he goes back to Germany, the language, the culture, he sets in straight away. If it had been Barca or an Italian team, like you said, a French team or whatever, I wouldn't have really thought there's anything behind it. But the fact that it's Germany and the fact this contract, which should have been signed in October, is still there, that's the worrying thing for me.
Yeah, for me, I think you got to be worried. Bayern Munich might be talking about it now, but and granted, the legal clubs are hurting financially, probably far more than the German clubs are, but especially with France going into a third lockdown or whatever recently too. I mean, that's got to play into it. But I'm just telling you, man, we're in bad shape. If Levy doesn't step up, Levy, however you want to do it, leave my club. However you want to say it, dude. If he doesn't step up this summer, we could be looking like those lot down the street, man.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little spoiler alert. Now, you've all seen me and you've all got to know me now for the best part. I don't know how long you guys have been watching We Are Tottenham TV.
Since 18-19 season, so I've been there for a while.
Okay, so I've been watching them for a while, but I've actually only been going on since the start of this season. And like I said, the great thing is I've got to meet great people like you two now who are like not just people I see on streams now. They're friends of mine. We speak off air and everything, which is things I love about it. But spoiler alert, if you think my Levy rant on We Are Tottenham TV was bad, if we go this time next season and we're in the state you think we are, Will, that will be like PG rated. That will be like the easiest, cool breeze, relaxed rant you'll ever see. I'm
worried, man. I really am. Right, like if we don't get top 4 this season, and Levy, throws his wallet in a safe, then buries that safe underneath the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and then collapses the Hotspur Stadium on top of that.
What do you think's in the time capsule that we've put in the ground?
His wallet. I'm serious, man. I'm seriously concerned because yes, we need to get rid of a lot of people, but we need quality people in a lot of those positions. At least four $50 to $60 million players. That's $220 million that we need to spend this summer, or 220 million pounds that we need to spend this summer.
Correct.
And it's not, and we'll be lucky to do 50, 60.
Correct. This is good. I like this part because it sounds like a correct.
Yeah, man, I just don't know.
This is it. This is it.
What do you think, Cody? You're being awful quiet over there.
What are you gonna do? You know what? Tottenham till I die.
Correct.
That's all I'll say. You know what?
I agree.
In the end, we can criticize the way that the club is run, and we can criticize the conditions in which it is run at this point, but we're all going to stand on the trapdoor until it gets pulled out underneath us, and we have a huge opportunity right now going into tomorrow's game, and that's what I'm focused on. I think tomorrow should be a good day. It should be a day that we come out of. At the end of the day, we should have a lot more hope at the end of the game than we did going in. And yeah, we can always just kind of trash. We can always just trash the owners and wish for better days. But we have what we have, and sadly, that's the way it is. But
you are right, Cody. You are right.
Yeah.
So final
best to
thoughts
just-
and score predictions. We've done 3 hours. I
So
don't
we
want
have-
this to get depressed. It's starting to take a depressing turn. It's starting to take a depressing turn. So give me your starting 11, your score prediction, and then we'll head out because
Okay.
this is starting to make me. I've already gone through 3 of my mangoes, and I have about 4 more downstairs, and I might have to finish those off if we keep going down the road that we're on. So
Okay. Starting 11. Reguilon, Sanchez, Roden, Tanganga, Højbjerg, Ndombele, Lamella, Lucas, Son, and Kane with Lloris in net. Final score 3-0.
and
Tottenham
Lamella's
Hotspur.
playing.
Lamella's playing out on the right hand side.
Okay, I could go with that. Brian.
So, am I picking the team that I want to see or the team I think I'm going to see?
That you want to see.
Okay, so basically, the team I want to see is exactly what Cody said. Just put Bale in for Lamella.
Okay.
I'm hoping and praying, like Cody, for 3-0 or any score other than 2-0 because, as you guys know, Tottenham away on Monday. And Will, you're on it, aren't you? You're on Tottenham away on
It'll be
Monday.
me
It's
on
your
Monday.
day.
That's my
It'll
day.
be your day on Monday. So Brian and I have obviously had a thing where we're going to have forfeits every week if we get the exact score, and there are a few absolute worldy forfeits mentioned on yesterday's show. So I'm praying for 3-0.
Absolute
for 3-0.
savages on the wager side. I couldn't believe it. I thought I was hard.
Which one do you think was worse, though, Cody?
Oh, the worst one? Oh man.
Or
Probably
Brian,
having
which
to-
one did you think was the worst? Singing a song, wearing a Levy shirt.
So obviously, me having to say I love Daniel Levy 5 times in advance. If
That's
it's
bad.
2-0 to Brian, that's that. And
bad.
people on this show will
that
know
was
how bad
Cody's
it's to me.
idea.
But then when Cody flipped it, that Brian would have to say I hate Judas, but use his full name. I love Judas 5 times. Then that became very, very interesting. But I do you know which one I really want? The forfeit I really want, because what we're hoping is that the other We Are Tottenham TV boys don't see our show from Friday, and that one of us have to sing every 15 minutes like I'm a Barbie girl, and just in the middle of the interview, it doesn't matter if we're talking or they're talking, just get up every 15 minutes and sing the chorus for that. They'll be like, what the hell is going on here? I think that will be fun. So I'm praying for 3-0. Praying for 3-0.
Praying for 3-0. Well, I am sticking to my 4-1, and I would only make 2 changes from your guys' starting 11, and I would switch out Tanganga and it would only be 1 change from Brian's and 2 changes from Cody's. It would be Aurier and Bale on the right. That's the only 2 changes I'd make.
I want Tanganga, but I think it'll be Aurier.
Yeah. And not that I mind Tanganga. I'd be okay with Tanganga. I'd be more okay with, well, obviously it's Will Stewart, right? So I'd be more okay with Tanganga Aurier swap than a Lamella Bale swap, to be honest with you.
Of course.
It's not like I hate Aaron Lamella as a person. If he's going to play number 8, I'd be okay with it. I'd be okay with how he plays if he was in number 8. It's just the fact that he plays in an attacking role that makes me require more goal contributions. That's
Listen,
the only.
We all have it as well growing up, and I've had it with certain players where there's certain players you just don't get, or you just don't like, or you just don't understand. And that's not just in football, that's just in any sport whatsoever. I've had quite a few Spurs players like that where I just couldn't stand the sight of them.
And I have 2 biases. The first one is that in the 18-19 season, 17-18 season, he used to start instead of Son on the left, and that really irritated me under Pochettino. And we lost most of those matches as well. If you actually go back and look at obviously because I have such a vendetta, I've gone back and looked those up. And the second one is that my son isn't that kind of player, and he's much more creative and technically talented than a lot of his peers. but those peers who run around like chickens with their heads cut off tend to get more praise from the coach than he does, even though he's the one that, yeah, even though he's the one who's playing the ball into those types of players and setting them up for success, right? Because they wouldn't have half the chances that they have if my son wasn't laying the ball on their feet in stride on the way to the net. And so those are my two biases against Eric Lamela. Those are my two biases. Right.
So what you say? You were 4-1, weren't you?
Huh?
You were 4-1 for the score.
4-1.
Your prediction is 4-1. Me and Cody are 3-0, so it's still a 3-goal game. So let's just call it 3-0. Let's just all go to bed tonight and just say 3-0 Common Spurs, 3-0.
I hope it's a 3-0 because I have Sergio Reguilon in my fantasy team, and if he gets a clean sheet, I get an extra 6 points.
There you go. See, even more reasons for it to be 3-0.
I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. I hope it does. I think we'll concede later. I think we'll end up going up 4-0, just like we did against Burnley. We'll concede later, just like we did against what's their names, West Brom.
Like Brian Ireland said as well, the great thing is during that game, it's actually going to be good because it's actually going to add a bit of an excitement for me and Brian during the game. It's like when it gets to 2-0, he's going to be like, oh, come on, Spurs, just shut up shop. And for me, I'll be like, get that goal.
But
who scores for
James...
Newcastle? Honestly.
What's his name?
Maximum.
John
no, not saying Maximum. No. You're gonna have old tall Carly or whatever.
Carroll, Andy Carroll.
Carroll's gonna come on around 80, and he's gonna head one in off a corner.
Or Joe Linton will score his first goal in 386 games, and
it'll be Carroll. He scores it every single time. I don't think I've watched a match we played against Newcastle where he hasn't scored at least one.
Oh, don't say that.
That I can remember.
You said you didn't want it to be depressing. You started taking it down that road again.
But it's only one. As long as we have 4, then there's no problem with the one. It's only if we have one that the one is the problem, right? I don't mind. I'd rather have the clean sheet for my fantasy team, right? Because honestly, I had a red arrow last week, and I could use a green arrow this week. And Gundogan didn't play today, and Aubameyang blanked. And the only reason why I had Aubameyang in is because he had a game week last week where most teams didn't, right? Or the week before the thing. So I had to bring him in.
Or you wanted to keep cricketer happy.
Aubameyang was on the bench, obviously. But since Gundogan didn't play today against for City, Aubameyang's first sub, so I'll get his 2 points. And that's all I ever seem to get from Aubameyang is 2 points, unfortunately. But anyways, yeah, so I need a green arrow. I'm dropping down. I'm at 280,000 now worldwide, and that's pretty poor since I was like 180 like 3 weeks ago. So,
gee,
I'm dropping.
Wow.
Yeah. But all right, guys. Any final words, Brian? Go ahead and promote your channel.
So yeah, guys. As you know, I've been on a few times. It's right there at Tottenham Away. When you look for us on YouTube, there's not an underscore. We are on weekly on Mondays, and Brian and I have just started our own little spin-off with it. But we have the great Will Stewart on our show on Monday at 2 p.m.
Yep, I'll be there
Eastern, 7 p.m. UK time. I think in a few weeks we've also got the great Cody Mac. Cody Mac. I can't help it when you say his name. It's like saying Beetlejuice. It just has to be said. So yeah, it's a great laugh. Me and 3 other lads talking all things Tottenham. This week it'll obviously be discussing the match and any other talking points during it. Come and subscribe. It's a real good laugh, and I wish you all a good weekend. And 3 points for Tottenham.
And yeah, just for you guys don't need to go search for it, because actually if you look at my main page, if you're already here on my channel and you go to home on my page, down at the bottom there's a spot for where I have appeared, and there is a Tottenham Away. You can just click on that, go over there, subscribe.
What a superstar.
So anybody who brings me on or has me on as a guest on their channel, I always promote their channel on my homepage, or on my channel page. So you can just go in and you can double over and make sure you subscribe to their page as well. And then we have Cody Mack up at the top. It's my top right. I don't know where it is for everybody else, but it's my top right. And in the We Are Tottenham TV, Sim thought it was a parrot or a penguin.
He thought it was a parrot, but clearly that is a shark. I mean, if you think that's a parrot, you need to get your head checked.
You like the parrot sounds?
Oh, that's brilliant.
So I had
That's
penguin. I
brilliant.
had penguin and parrot because I couldn't remember exactly. So I had the penguin lined up. That's the penguin one, and that's the and the parrot's over here. That's the parrot sound. I brought those into my soundboard. But
That's hilarious.
yeah. So you can find him at Cody Mack. What's your Twitter?
It's at ComacDo. Although if you don't like Spurs, I suggest you don't follow. And absolutely, if you haven't subscribed to Will's channel and you're watching this content, and if you haven't subscribed to Brian's channel or the Irish Hotspur or any of the contributors that are trying to make it here on YouTube, absolutely support them. Click those like buttons. It makes a huge difference. You don't have to
We're at
spend
one-
money. All you have to do is just leverage your finger a little bit, and it makes a difference.
There's
for
still
these
30
guys.
people watching live right now. This is amazing. You guys, we've been on it for 3 hours, 3 hours and 10 minutes, actually. And Brian and
Fantastic.
Cody have stayed with me on the entire 3 hours and 10 minutes. You guys are
Gotcha.
Iron Men. You're an Iron Man. There is going to be one day, though, where I'm going to have to go like six. I'm going to have to do like a 6 or 7 hour marathon, like straight to like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. I don't expect you guys to stay.
You know
Stay
what? Give
on
me
with
the
me.
coffee. Give me the coffee. I'll try.
And but just to see if I could pull in the entire world into one stream, you would have the US, from like start at maybe like 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. Eastern time, and then roll to like 6 a.m. and that would bring all the way to evening time Korea, afternoon England, and maybe
not a bad idea.
when we win the here, I'll semi commit to this now for me. I'm not forcing you guys to do it, but you can come on for as much time as you want and then jump off. But that would be cool. If I'm looking at the camera right now, let me bring you in here. I'm gonna zoom in here. I'm gonna zoom in.
Dun, dun, dun.
Too close. Too close.
Too close.
I can see your pores.
If we win the Caribou Cup, I will stream from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern time. It's a 12-hour stream. Maybe not that long. I think I can only stream 8 hours straight on StreamYard. So 8 hours. So that would be till 7.
I'm in.
So I will be in for a lot of it, but I have a huge announcement. So the day after the Caribou Cup, win or lose, the guests coming on Tottenham away are Ben and Sim from We Are Tottenham TV.
Oh!
So the one thing I don't want to do is do a 12-hour stream and then fall asleep and then wake up after that stream. And I love those boys so much, and thankfully they've agreed to come. I couldn't do it to them, and I would miss the biggest show. So I will join you for a lot of it. I will join you for a lot of it.
Yeah, you don't
Drink
have to stay
coffee.
on.
I'll
don't
get
have to
the
stay on for the whole
alcohol-free
time.
beers in. I'll get my placebos in. I'll get the alcohol-free beers in.
Get your old jewels on.
But we'll give it a go. I'll stay up for a little while, then I'll go have my beauty sleep before the boys from We Are Tottenham. Put it this way, if we lose, maybe I'll stay up for a lot longer. If we win, then I'm going to need to get my beauty sleep ready for that great stream on Monday.
But I'm committing that right now to you viewers here, okay, on this channel. When we win the Caribou Cup, I will stream until StreamYard kicks me off, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, all the way to that next morning. That's a weekend game, right?
It's a Sunday.
Okay, cool. That'll work then.
It's a
Mondays are still
Sunday.
open.
Oh, there you go. Then you're cool. You're not on the school run or anything.
No. Wrong way.
Then all good.
But yeah. And I need to buy a new camera that has 100% clean HDMI. So this one works good. This is actually a very cheap camera, believe it or not. And it has clean HDMI, but only after a minute. You have to wait a minute, and then the little P and the little stuff. So if I don't touch anything, it's great. But if I want to zoom in like that, then it jacks it up. But I don't think people care, to be honest with you. I don't think people care. But anyway, guys, it's midnight, 12:15. Thank you
Peace
for
out,
coming
guys.
on. I'm going to throw you guys out, say my goodbyes, and we'll see you guys. If you're available tomorrow night, we'll be streaming after. Hopefully it's good news. We'll be doing probably 10 o'clock tomorrow. So if you want to come on for now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do 3 hours tomorrow, but I'm going to try. If you guys want to come on, we'll be here. And hopefully we have good news.
Yep. Cricket Records, you're a piece of shit.
But anyway,
he's been so polite the whole way through the stream, Cody has. He just let rip right to the end.
I couldn't resist. I had to let
Cody Mac, Cody
Mac. If you haven't subscribed, I only need 2 more to reach 200. Just 2 more. So if you're watching, all 30 of you, and you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button. That's the
Peace
rabbit.
out, people.
It's free.
I'm out.
We'll see you
Peace
guys
out.
next time. Cody, have a great night. See you tomorrow.
take care.
Big love to you.
We're talking about a huge win this time.
Huge win tomorrow. Huge win tomorrow. We'll be in 4th place because West Ham are going to bottle it against Wolves, and we'll be in the top 4 tomorrow night. And
Let's
we'll
go.
See you then.
Let's go,
Let's
man.
go.
Positive,
Come on, you Spurs.
Positive thinking. Absolutely. Yeah. Come on. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. We'll see you tomorrow, Cody. And for the last 28 of you here, I'm going to bring the volume down on this a little bit. And this is for the we'll do that before an early game stream all the way up to pregame for 4 a.m. gone. This is for the Arsenal fans. It's for the Arsenal fans. Go back to your home. You know where you belong. It's just for you. Like and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Roll that intro. Stay strong, stay Spurs. We'll see you tomorrow.
1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go now.